Hello, everyone, and welcome back to We Bought a Mic for part 2 of our best albums of 2022. We did a whole part 1 where we went through the first half of our top 10s.
Yep.
So we're jumping in right in the middle.
It's now
our top 5s.
It's 1 week later. We agreed to wear the same clothes and get haircuts, but just very small ones.
And not listen to any music at all.
No.
Nothing.
No music allowed. My name's Ernest.
My name is slowly starting to get the hang of this music thing, Hunter.
Slowly? How slowly?
I'm about I would say halfway in. And honestly, who would have guessed that we wouldn't have been able to fit this all into one episode? I never would have predicted it.
Should have bet the over.
It's never happened before in my life. Don't worry, I live bet to get out for my original
In the
bet,
past
so at
week,
least I'm
you
hedging.
did fly out to Vegas and back.
Yes, yeah, I did do that because it was 1 week's time.
See, I bet the per half totals, so I win either way. I'm Drew.
I'm Danny again.
Hey,
Fuck it.
how's it going?
Yeah. Good.
Doing pretty good?
Yeah.
Fuck
not
it.
chilling.
Are you were you almost Daniel today? And you're like, nah, fuck it, I'm Danny.
I mean, yeah, I want to feel like I'm young because Death Cab's already out of the way.
Yeah, so
now I'm like,
you're like, here's something for the youths.
I'm Danny now.
Put on like your 100 Gex shirt.
How do you feel about the first half of the list?
I feel good about it. I feel really good about it. I think the top half really had a lot more oomph for me. I think this is the cutoff mark of albums that I obsessed over.
Okay.
I'm excited for this top 5.
So
excited.
please, people, listen to the first half. Are you psychotic and just jumping into the top 5? What the fuck are you doing? But if you are psychotic, the order we decided on is me first, then Danny, then Drew, then Hunter. So we're just going to continue that order right now with my number 5 pick, which is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers
You have to save it.
by Kendrick Lamar.
It was a big hip hop year for you.
You could say
You could
is
say
like
you could
this-
call him a hip hunter.
Ooh.
You can't say that.
Hop
Ernest, you can't say that. And also, we should reiterate for listeners, if they did just jump into this and this is their first time listening to a Listomania
Psychotic.
episode, that if one
What
of
are
us
you doing?
has if one of us has an album higher than the other one, then we'll save our discussion until whoever has the
Gosh.
highest.
Not
Yeah.
caught up on the lore of WBAM.
Ernie, I'm fully taking over for you. Don't worry.
I'm the guy tuning in for part 2 for the first time ever before part 1. Being like, oh,
Guy
you
who
know what,
walks
Hunter?
into
Thank you so
Godfather
much.
Part 2 and is just like,
Yeah.
I think I can catch up. I'll get the gist.
Danny.
Ernie?
All right.
Oh, what about you?
Mr. Morale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I will say it, but I can save the discussion if you have it as well because it's weird.
What?
I have King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, but I have Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. That's the album. But,
Okay.
But if you have Omnium, Gatherum higher, we can save the King Gizzard
Okay.
discussion.
We'll
fucking-
save
this
we'll-
fucking band.
We're
I
saving the
can't-
jizz whiz jizz for later.
That's why I was like, I had to check with the judges here.
Wow.
So we can
Cool.
save the
I'm happy for
Jizztober
you guys.
talk
Okay.
for another time.
Well,
but
Danny, you'll be very happy to learn, though, that now we can talk about Always.
Wait, no. Hold on. This means that his entire top 5 is King Wizard and the Lizard Wizard albums,
King
right?
Wizard
Yes.
and the
King
Lizard
Gizzard.
King Wizard, Lizard, Gizzies.
So yeah, just making sure.
We'll
okay,
save- yeah.
always.
Blue Rev. Have you guys listened to much Always before this album?
Yes.
I'm
I feel like they used to be big like 10 years ago.
not 10. I
No.
would say 5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
As just
Anti-socialites.
yeah, as just super solid indie pop music, basically. Like they dropped with "Marry Me, Archie." It's this duo, a guy and a girl, and it popped super hard on like the indie charts. The duo, they're on the record with like AV Club. I remember reading back then saying they did not want that to be their music career. They made this music like on a lark, and then it happened to get very popular. Blue Rev to me is like, this proves that they are like musicians on top of having really good pop sensibilities. The shit gets crazy on this album.
Yeah.
Like this album is fucking phenomenal. It is so It's everything I've ever wanted from them. Their music has always hinted at like shoegaze, for example.
Yeah, it's like dream poppy, like very.
It's always like had like elements of that, but then like really focused more on the pop. And this album gets into it. It gets into that. It gets way more into synthy stuff. It like we're talking like time signature changes, key changes, just like everything. They're throwing fucking everything at you, and it I don't know. It makes me happy. It sounds like they've been wanting to do this the whole time.
But you can I think like you couldn't tell, like as an average listener, you couldn't tell that they were messing with time signatures a lot.
No, because it's still really catchy.
Yeah, it's still all really catchy. I think like some of these songs are like the top like indie rock songs of the year.
Yeah.
Specifically like Belinda Says is one that I really like a lot. Pharmacist is like an excellent opener.
Yeah. They've always been an awesome band. It's just, this entire album front to back is like a step up to me. I didn't know it was getting other love, but apparently it was really, really high on Pitchfork's top of the year, which is almost surprising because they were known as like a really straightforward indie pop band. But that's because this album is different. Like, and that's not talking shit about their other stuff either, because it is really solid albums. But like, oh my God. This was a late riser for me, and if I listened to it more, it could be higher, because I can't name anything that could have been much better, I guess, right? I mean,
when it comes to like rock, it was one of those albums that like isn't an auto include for me, and like the only reason I kept it at 10 was because I didn't spend enough time with it. But every time I listened to it, I was like, damn, I really like this album. I really need to mention it, and it's like I can't just keep it in my honorable mentions, so I put it at 10. But at the same time, like it's really well done. You know, it's I love it a lot.
Yeah, it gets deeper into other little subgenres while still being indie pop. Like there's like psychedelia going on almost, like the way that they do like repetitions of certain parts like really quickly. It's a lot while still being close to what it while still being accessible, I guess. Super solid.
Mm-hmm. Blue Rev by Alves.
Alves.
I will definitely be checking it out.
What you got?
My number 5 is, I think Ernie mentioned them earlier, Ramona Park Broke My Heart by Vince Staples.
Let's go. Yeah, I had this at 6.
At 6? Okay. So I had a little bit of a come to Jesus moment earlier this year, and I think I realized that Vince Staples is just one of my favorite rappers ever. Like, I think that that's just fully where he's at with me. That I think that his self-titled album was number 5 last year for my list. And the thing is, this album is better than self-titled.
That's
like,
the thing.
This is the best album since Big Fish Theory. I think I actually might like it more than Big Fish Theory. It is in the running for like his best work that he's put out yet. Whenever you're talking about the balancing of the lyricism, the production on this fucking thing, kind of the balance again of striking with hip hop. It's the same thing, the JID album, that striking of like saying something deeply personal about your life. He's using Ramona Park almost like as a person. Ramona Park broke my heart, but he was born and raised in Ramona Park, California. And kind of talking about this like very like he has a lot of resentment towards where he grew up and like kind of how it shaped him, but also like he loves it so much. Like he knows that is what made him him. And I think about the line in Magic, which is the poppiest song on the album. It's the most played song for a reason, where it's Daddy handed me a 38 and told me I was special. And then the ad lib, because I am, like, where it's just kind of, it's this duality of like, I came up in all this hardened me and made me who I am, and like I'm breaking free from that, but also like this is still the armor that I was born into, and I'm going to fully embrace this where I came from. His lyricism and his cadences are just kind of better than anybody else is doing it right now. Like, I just think that he is one of the greatest rappers alive.
I love this album so much. I was actually the only one of the 4 of us that did not have his album last year on my top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys, the 3 of you, all had his self-titled on there. And I like that album. That was one of those instances of like, I'm going to give my spot to another album because I know that you guys like that album. And this year, I was going to do the same thing with this album that I did last year. But then I kept returning back to it. And I had it in the back of my head. I was like, I should give that one extra time before the podcast. And I've just been listening to it over and over again the last couple of weeks. And you are right. It does feel like the culmination of so much of what he's been building up to. It seemed like, post Big Fish Theory.
Yeah.
That was like this new era for him, and he had shifted into a higher gear, but it seemed like he hadn't quite found what the culmination of that was going to be. It seemed like last year with Self-Titled was some type of culmination, because the thing with FM is like that album was like barely 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And Self-Titled is like 23 minutes.
Exactly.
It's
That's
also
the thing.
it's very short. FM
Ramona
is like more
Park-
experimental. Self-Titled is more of like kind of that good production, solid, but this is the culmination of everything.
Yeah, this is a full-on 40-minute album. This is you cannot have the caveat of it being some type of half-baked, unfinished thing. Like, this is a complete thought, and damn, it works so well. It's just this perfectly produced hip-hop album. The flow, the vibe, like the production, it's all there. It's as far as like it was hard for me to flip this with Mr. Morale. Like it's almost a toss-up, because I ended up putting Mr. Morale higher just because that seems like a much more kind of weighty, introspective look at like who Kendrick is, and we'll get into that in a second. But this one, I just liked listening to this one a little bit more. So it was almost like they're just kind of sharing the same spot there, and each one could be higher than the other. But yeah, I love this album. It's such a good listen. It's great.
Yeah, no, this was a late riser for me just because I don't know if you guys have ever had this. I know I'm asking you as two fucking King Gizzard super fans who are like, no, give me 18 albums a year. I have a thing with artists sometimes where like, I listened to the last album that you just put into, and I put a lot of like my heart and soul and like really like listen to this thing. And then you put on another album like 6 months later, I'm like,
Not
I
quite.
don't know if I'm ready for this yet.
Yeah.
Like, let me sit with one album before you like give me a second one.
That's kind of why I never really dived deep into this album at all.
Well, this album,
gonna
so
say
this
the
album
same
came out in
thing.
like
Yeah.
March. This album came out early this year.
Yeah.
And
Still
it kind
stewing
of-
off the last
it kind
album.
of sat on the shelf for me a little
Yeah.
bit, where I listened to it a couple times. I was like, oh, this is good. I'll come back to this. And it just kind of sat there for a while.
Till the end of the year.
Until like the last month and a half. And since I fired it back up again, I cannot stop listening to it. Like, it's kind of just been a thing where it's just every day I'm just kind of like, well, I could listen to this thing, or I could just re-listen
Yeah.
to Ramona Park again.
It's
And-
so good. Just to shout out a couple of the tracks, I Free the Homies, When Sparks Fly, Lemonade, and then
Street.
Rose Street. Yeah. That's the penultimate. It's 16
What's that?
tracks.
Trust what's that? Us what's that?
It's a great one. Yeah. Love it. Ramona Park Broke My Heart by Vince Staples. Hunter's number 5. My number 6. We're up to number 4. Back to me. Woo! This we're starting to get into the area where it's like the top 5 for me are kind of like you could make any of these the best, the number 1.
Yeah.
Like, it feels silly to order these because I'm just like so into every single one of these albums, but I had to order them in some order. So at number 4, I put Skinty Fia by Fontaines D.C.
You're gonna have to save it. Yeah.
Oh, he's shushing me,
You just got shushed. Oh my God.
Shut the fuck up.
Danny. Number 4.
Fucking mouth, you
I'm not
fucking
sure.
idiot.
I don't think anyone's gonna have it, but my number 4 is Toro y Moi's Mahal.
Nice.
Didn't listen
I,
to this one.
It slaps. I think like I can speak for everyone here that we all respect him as like an artist.
Yeah, his
But
last
when it-
album made my list.
Yeah, but like
Outer Peace.
Yeah, Outer Peace.
That was a
2019.
while ago.
3
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
yeah, this album, listening it from front to back is like the album cover is like him in front of this like funky looking car, and when you listen to this album, you feel like what's his name? Chaz Bear is giving you a ride in his car, and he's just playing music for you, and then like stops the car almost to like play something for you, you know? and it's like a psychedelic masterpiece, is what I feel like. It's so good.
He's. I mean, I think we've talked about it before, but you know the album Chaz Bundick Meets the Matson 2? Yeah. So he's had the psychedelic in him, you know, like that's like a heavy psychedelic album, you know, because people hear Toi Moi, they might think, you know, like, oh, like indie pop rock type. But yeah, no, he has a lot of variability in his music. He's done a lot of different things.
Yeah, he does a really good job in this album, and I listen to it like out of respect instead of like eager to listen to like what it had to say. And then after I listened to it, like, so this is actually Mitzel's top 1 or 2 is what she was saying. And
sucks to be Odessa right now.
To paint a picture, the first song is actually with Unknown Mortal Orchestra. So like it starts off hot, and he takes you on this journey, and it's like, it feels like you're literally just taking some Soylent with Chaz in a car, and you're listening to music, driving around with him throughout the album. It's him starting the car, revving the engine, the car doors opening and closing, the radio like frequency sound. Like it's just like you constantly just feel like, I feel like this album should have a cinematic component with it.
Yeah.
That's just
kind of Tyler the Creator-esque a little bit.
I think so.
Getting that feel.
Yeah, like it's such a good album.
Or the song Oakland by Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
In Oakland. Yeah. My highlights are Days in Love, which is the last song. The loop is like a really like fun, jammy, obviously like it's about him like not being in the loop, but he uses loops throughout the song. Clarity, Postman. It's just a fun, jammy, psychedelic album. I really recommend listening to it. I was pleasantly surprised listening to it. I literally only listened to it because it's like, you know, this guy, I know he's one of the GOATs when it comes to like making music and jamming, but he really put together a really nice project.
Mahal.
By
Toro y Moi.
Toro y Moi.
That is Denny's number 4. Drew, number 4.
This is my old man album. Rolling Blackouts, Coastal Fever.
Yo! Dude, I had to take this off my list, unfortunately. It was on there until it wasn't. This album rocks.
It rocks really, really hard. Endless Rooms. It's one that like it made its way back around into my rotation where like, you know, it had like a second life. And I was like, God, front to back. I think it's my favorite of their albums so far. I think there are 3 full ones. Just fucking phenomenal band. The reason they make me feel like an old man, I don't even know how old these guys are. I would imagine they're like maybe in their 30s, like max. I don't think they're actually old. But anytime I listen to them, I become I say to myself, man, the fucking tone on that guitar, that fucking tone on that guitar, man.
The placement of the microphone on the amp.
And that bass, man, that's so warm. Like
the carpet underneath the drum kit.
I start saying shit that sounds annoying, like when I listen to this band, because that's what it's all about. Like the main character of all of their songs is the lead guitar, and it's not doing like crazy shit. So in that way, it almost reminds me of some Arctic Monkeys, like especially old Arctic Monkeys, because Alex Turner isn't a physically gifted guitarist. He just has the best ear in the world.
The brain.
Yeah.
They are closer to Mr. Kevin Parker. They're from Melbourne.
Geographically, very Australian. Yeah. Borderline don't understand what they're saying a lot of the time. Also, the vocals are mixed down because they know that they don't have a good singer. Either guy that's singing, not very good. And that's fine. Because it is so phenomenally produced. I couldn't name a thing out of place. Like the drums, the snare has the perfect amount of pop. Like they'll ride the crash in the right part, and then they'll switch back to hi-hat. Like it's all just like it's like Tim Duncan. It's all like fundamentally sound music.
The way it shatters.
Tim Duncan of bands.
Yes.
The way it shatters, one of the best songs of the year.
Yeah, and it's like
fucking rocks.
It's sort of it's one of the only songs on the whole album that uses a synthesizer, and it's like it's mixed way back into the mix during the main riff. Otherwise, this album is really just riding on the guitar, and the bass mixes in perfectly where you can hear them both super clearly. They have distinct voices, and they work together. It's just really, really, really good music.
It reminds me of Japan Droids.
Yeah, that's a kind of a good.
If Japan Droids had more people, because Japan Droids is only two guys.
Yeah, and was less punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because there isn't a lot of punk, but there are songs with tempo, like The Way It Shatters. But it just like it's more in like the realm of reverby alt rock. Yeah. And I don't know, it just they just work together. Like it sounds like a band that plays together a lot. You know what I mean? It sounds like they practice a lot and they come to their songs naturally, like the way Tenacious D does, where they're just recording their jams and picking what sounds right. Like that's what I get when I listen to this band. Like they just
Hey, you should check out King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. If you like that. If you like that kind of stuff.
If I don't convert you after the third year putting them in my top 10, I don't know if we can still be friends.
How many beats a minute are we talking per song on this?
There's 21 albums.
Depends.
You'll like something.
They do it all. From 0 to 120. Take your pick.
And they're Australian. Yeah. I should.
The Aussies.
I should love them. I think there's something wrong with me.
No, it's okay. You'll give them time.
I think this year's the best year to start. Because when the albums they released this year,
I know it's hard for you to commit to like an hour of listening to an album. Would you like to listen to 18 of them? Because that's how many albums they put out
why
this
I
year.
don't?
Actually, they have 24.
The bias I have against them is in 2013 or early 14, we were at a party with Ernest's like hipster ass coworkers at this pizza place he worked at.
Nice.
And it was the Bonnaroo release party. And this guy. And this guy they were like at the bottom of the list. And this guy was like, King Gizzard and the Lizard? What the fuck is that?
And then we saw them
and
at
everyone
Thursday night at a Bonnaroo set that like, I don't know, like 75 people were at. There was just no one there.
They were literally the first, like they were the second line last year. That's how big they've gotten.
Hell yeah, bro.
I'm happy for them because in theory, I like that kind of music.
Yeah.
I've just never.
I love that they're the new String Cheese Incident.
They're not even close.
They're lettuce.
No, not even.
No, cool.
close.
They're fish. That's great.
Well, they might be that big.
Endless Rooms by Rolling Coastal Blackouts or Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever.
Close enough.
Ernie's coastaled out right now off that fucking Vizzy.
It's actually a White Claw.
Damn.
So get it right, bitch. Love this album. It's literally my number 11.
It's so
It was on my list.
They're
and
so good.
I had to make a call.
I have a thing for reverb guitar.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
All right, Hunter. Which hip hop album?
I just want to say real quick. The album cover is a photo of a house, and you can just tell they fucking recorded the album in that house. It has that feel. Anyway, number 4, Hunter.
So similar to what Ernie just said. Now my top 4, especially, all 4 of these albums have been number 1 at some point throughout the year. So like at this point, they're all kind of interchangeable. My number 4, we're gonna have to wait on. It is Vax's Act 2: Window of the Waking Mind.
Wait.
So
Act
what we're gonna
2?
wait? Yeah, Vax's Act 2.
Yeah,
Act 1 was last year.
Act 1 came out in 2019. You dunce.
Fucking
it was
moron.
on all 3 of our lists. It was your number 0, I think. You were like, this has to go above an integer.
He wanted to have its own podcast.
Hold on a second, because Coheed is coming to Florida. Aren't they playing like one of those like Daytona?
That's because
Speedway Fest.
The only place that
Yeah, they're
Coheed
playing
fans
Welcome to
live is
Rockville.
Florida.
We're going.
They're always here. They're here every fucking year. They won't go away.
Here's the thing. Let me fucking everybody shut. Ernest, cut off all the mics. Cut off all the mics. Let me get out here. Turn off all the mics. Let me just preach here. So guys, here's the thing about this album is that Coheed fucking reinvented themselves yet again.
Hold on,
they
let
did
them
it.
cook.
They fucking did it. And to be honest, I think this is Coheed's most accessible album that they've ever made. And I think that they have made it's their most accessible album in that they fully embraced pop punk. Like they fully kind of embrace this new pop punky sound that's bringing in all new fans that have never listened to Coheed and Cambria before, but they did not lose what made Coheed special in the first place.
I need to be honest. I respect Hunter enough that I listened to this album, and I didn't hate it. I didn't. I actually liked it. I thought it was a really cool storytelling album. Like it was really.
Did you
cool.
have a coworker that said this was the greatest album ever?
It wasn't a coworker. It was a friend of mine that I played video games with, and he told me to listen to it. But then I was like, "Hey, my friend Hunter really likes them," and so then I said, "Oh, Hunter, what about this?"
And
album?
I was like, "Hey,
I love it."
Is he single?"
And then Hunter said it's only the 4th best album of this one year.
I have this here just because you
didn't want us to yell at you too much.
Yeah. I didn't want to be bullied in Ernest garage as we're recording this.
Hunter,
but
this is your moment. Do you want me to grab the Top Gun?
No, it's
can you grab the Top Gun
no,
poster
for real.
me?
It's actually a pretty good album.
The band, I think I read somewhere online that their influences for this album were 9 Inch Nails and Tears for Fears, which sound insane until you actually listen to the album and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, I can hear it. Like there's
definitely
a lot of 80s pop to this album. But again, it's not losing the bite of like what makes Coheed special. The final trilogy that the album ends on, Ladders of Supremacy, Rise.
God, I can't.
Rise.
Stop. Tom Cruise is
Naya Nasha and Window of the Waking Mind.
He's right here. It's okay.
Tom,
it's okay.
My emotional support, Tom. Are just like, it's some of the best work that Coheed's done like the last 10 years. Like it truly is just something where a friend of the pod, Colin, and I have had talks before where, especially before their last album came out, we were like, we don't want to admit it to ourselves because this is like our favorite band, but like, are they entering the Fall Out Boy zone? Are they entering the legacy band phase? We had this talk with each other
I still think they're too niche.
Are they? Well, not even that. No, but I mean, like,
do they suck?
Not necessarily do they suck, because they're still, I will say, I've seen them live now, I think 8 or 9 times. They still fucking rock and roll live.
Yeah, but
like they put on an incredible show.
Did they lose it in terms of new shit?
Yes, exactly. Like, have they lost what made them special in the first place? And they had a little bit.
Welcome Home.
They had a little bit on their last album.
That was their first song
ever.
No.
Let him
Ernie,
cook.
I told you to kill the mics. Kill the mics. Kill Drew's mic. Don't let him talk anymore. Especially on this album, they've really shown that, like, I think that they're setting themselves up for the next, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, they are bringing in this whole new fan base. The best part about seeing them live the last time I saw them is there was so many like youths there at the show. There were so many kids who I could tell didn't grow up listening to Welcome Home. They don't know what the fuck Welcome Home is. They don't know.
Their dads did.
They don't know what the fuck
Am I still muted?
Were they TikToking?
They don't know what any of the oh cool, you listen to fucking Guitar Hero 3.
They like Coheed because they think that when they hear Claudio's voice, they think it's one of those sped up songs on TikTok because his voice is so fucking
Shout
high.
out to Steve Lacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't like good sopranos.
Good Eye Sniper?
Yeah, you don't like tenor ones. And the thing is that they found a way to reinvent themselves. They're bringing in this whole new fan base, and it's not losing. It's not Fall Out Boy making Centuries, where they brought in a new fan base, but they're kind of pushing out some of the old elder statesmen. They're still finding a way to nail this juggling, this balancing act to make both things happen at the same time. And I'm so happy for them. It was seeing them live, you could just tell how happy the band was. Claudio started playing keyboard on this album, started playing synth, and like he was just like, at the show that I went to, he's like, guys, I'm gonna do something that like I've never done before live. And they like busted out a synth, and he just started like ripping on the synth at the show. And let me tell you, I know even if you aren't the biggest Coheed fan in the world, Drew, Danny, Ernie,
I'm the only one to actually listen to from these here.
No, Danny, thank you.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on a field trip.
If you ever have a chance, if you're at a music festival, if you're ever just like they're playing around you and tickets are cheap and you aren't the biggest Coheed fan or you don't really know them well, see them live. It's truly like, even if you don't love the band, it is like one of the best live band experiences that you'll ever see in your life. Like they just know how to fucking rock and roll live, and it's just the best. It's so good.
I'm gonna tell the YouTube audience right now. I know you're among the fence out there.
One among
comment below.
Yeah,
I know you're out there.
There are dozens of us.
If we all liked Coheed, we would have more listeners because those people are fucking monsters. You know, like they find the Coheed people.
Yeah.
And they're watching.
Pivot.
It's like
Do you guys-
Juggalos.
Here's the thing. Do you guys want to be famous? Because we could pivot this into a Coheed podcast right now.
Do we have to put the
Album by album breakdown?
the thingy on every thumbnail?
Yeah, can you put the keyword?
The
thingy? The triangle with the
Coheed.
circle?
Hashtag Claudio.
I honestly I feel like if we did put that on every thumbnail, our views would just skyrocket.
You know that would, because it's the right kind of niche. It's like almost like Lynchian, where it's almost been like parodied too much. Have been like, oh, you've got like the Coheed type fans.
We'd have to talk about like just them and then like video games, I think, because that's like it's like Coheed is like pop punk for gamers, I think, for like hardcore.
You say that as a non-gamer.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, dude, I like pop punk. like case closed. You know what I mean?
All right, that is Hunter's number 4.
I'm happy, Hunter. I'll tell you. I'll give you. Here's a proposition. I will say that Coheed is good if you let me not give you your fantasy football winnings.
So that is $250. I'm going to go ahead and say that I would rather you just be the heel to my life, and I'm just going to resent you forever. And my dying words
It's
to you
better
would be like,
content for the podcast.
I would rather give him $250 easily.
For if you like, just listeners, if I can just give you a couple songs to just give a shout out to, Rise, Nyanisha, parentheses, cut the cord. Liars Club is incredible.
Don't make it easy.
A disappearing act.
Don't.
Cutting his mic again.
No, don't cut my mic. Don't cut my mic.
No. I'm cutting Drew's mic.
Those are just a couple songs. Give them a listen. I think that it's good music. It's good rock and roll music. They're saving rock and roll.
I'm letting you recommend the songs so that he doesn't interrupt.
Drew here, everybody.
You're stealing a different microphone. God, this is exactly what I told Gaia was going to happen. I was like, Gaia, they're going to bully me. Drew's going to talk over me the whole time.
Yeah.
And Gaia, like, she rubbed the small of my back.
Yeah, she's like,
She was like, honey.
she's like the
no, they
wife.
won't.
She's like the wife from the Jamie
They
Taco
won't.
sketch.
She's like, guys,
Hunter, you did incredible.
I gotta get out.
Putting them at number 4.
You know
Who
what?
else would do that, Hunter?
You know
Let me
what?
say my lines.
I love my wife.
I'm Jamie Taco.
You're Jamie Tacoing me right now.
Man, I can't believe
Ernie, what's your number 3?
I can't. Hold on a second. Woo. Okay.
Wait till you find out that they actually made 3 remixes to this album, which are going to be filling up my top 3 slots. So
Did they really make remixes?
yeah, they did an acoustic version. They did instrumental. They did a what if cats sang all the instruments.
Oh, cat.
A Meow the Jewel
Tom
style.
Hooper's cats.
parentheses, cut the cord.
All right, number 3. Top 3.
God, I hate you both so much.
We're gonna go
You
see-
guys are
we're-
in my suicide note. I want you to know that. And guess what? At my funeral, Coheed's on the funeral playlist. So you guys have to fucking listen to Coheed and Cambria as they're lowering my casket.
What's that line in Walk? Now get in the ground.
Damn.
You know, I have a counter at my house. It's like days since suicidal thought, and I'm gonna have to reset the counter back to
It's
zero.
gonna be at his funeral. It's gonna be their cover of Beirut by
What if
Bastille.
I cut this into
Beirut, not Pompeii.
Of Pompeii? Yeah, whatever. Of Pompeii.
Beirut.
And it's your dead eyes are gonna be open. It's gonna be open casket. And then like when it's like, and if you close your eyes, and I'm gonna shut your eyes with my 2 fingers.
Thank you.
Bye, beautiful.
What if I cut this into a TikTok and it gets like triple the views of the Lee Pace video.
There are dozens of us. Everybody, I want you to militarize.
Yeah.
I want you to Proud Boys this podcast.
It is the Proud Boys. Whatever
now.
because the Lee Pace got the gays. Whatever the opposite of gays is.
The neckbeards.
Andrew
I say
Callahan's
somebody
next
is,
documentary is about the Coheed fans.
Can he go to? Oh my God!
This band rules.
He goes from like Trump rallies to the SS Never Ender, the Coheed and Cambria cruise. Dude, Andrew, take me with you. Come on.
We could do a
could be-
WBAM on the road. WBAM on deck.
WBAM on
How
deck.
many competitions do I have to win for all of us for me to buy you tickets to the SS Neverender and us take this trip together?
If you bought me a ticket, I would go.
you have to go to the concert.
How much is it? How much is it?
I don't know. How much does a cruise cost? Like
$50.
like
No,
$7,000-$8,000. I don't know, man.
It's usually in the 500 to 1,000 range.
It's probably something like. I think it's something like
Usually they scam you into buying like an annual pass.
Why wasn't your honeymoon there? Like, why didn't you go there for your honeymoon?
that. We're holding out hope for the
New Zealand trip?
Fallout Boy cruise.
Oh,
So
Really?
it's got Coheed, Sunny Day Real Estate, like that's clout. Motion City soundtrack, clout. Animals as leaders, psychedelic.
this is the
Toast in a
cruise.
boss?
Isn't
Yeah.
it crazy how all
Psychedelic
these
corn
artists are
crumpets.
lesser than Coheed and Cambria?
I know.
They're all opening up for Coheed. Taking Back Sunday was there last year.
Dude, it has Mac Sabbath, the Black Sabbath cover band that dresses like McDonald's
Yeah,
characters.
Max Sabbath.
They're cool as fuck. I'm not joking.
Wait,
Yeah.
no, you're lying.
No, that's a
not
real
No,
thing.
that's-
Look
yeah,
it up.
Mac Sabbath.
it's
Mac
not.
Sabbath.
No, it's not.
No,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
actually they kind of kick ass. they do kind of.
It is after
Do
10
they
p.m.
do they
so-
change the lyrics?
So you can say whatever the hell you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. There's no way.
Okay,
Okay, number 3.
number 3, boys.
Vaxis Act 1.
Act 5.
Okay.
My number 3. You know, we like to be elitists. We like to be musical supremacists on this
you.
podcast. We like to tell people what they can't and can't like.
Are you about to pick Beyonce?
Renaissance.
Yep.
Beyonce.
It's a great album.
This is an incredible work of musical artistry. It is a journey through dance music, through all the decades from the 70s to today. It is an ode to Donna Summer, to Georgia Moroder, to the origins of electronic dance music. It's a fucking banger. It is the definition of an album that you have to listen in order from track 1 to the end. No shuffle, no skips. Every song flows into the next, and it is a nonstop dance party. It is fucking perfect. It is so well made. Holy shit.
You weren't very high on it when you first listened to it.
Me neither.
I don't think any of us were.
It takes a minute to
it's not
sort
the
of.
type of music that I think any of us are inherently drawn to, if that makes sense. Like I like some dancey stuff, but not this type of dance. If I was making an album of like the top 10 objectionable like top 10 best albums of the year, then this would be on the list because I admire this album, I think, more than I love it, if that makes sense. And maybe I just haven't spent enough time with it. Maybe that's the problem.
I went on a long vacation this break, went up north, rented a car in Massachusetts, and when driving around Massachusetts in the rental car, all I could think about putting on was this album. It is, if you're going on a road trip, if you're feeling that kind of travel vibe where you need to groove, something to keep you going.
When you
if
feel
you're in
like
a
your
travel
soul's
mode.
about to get broken,
Right.
you won't break Ernest's soul.
This is the album. I'm going to think about this. When I think about this year, I'm gonna think about this album. Like it's just burned into. It is intertwined with memories of 2022, and I quote it all the time. It is the lyrics are weird. She's trying to be like cool, but she's like an old mom at this point. There's like a weird humor.
She's trying to remain for the gays.
Yeah,
you know, and it's working.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a charm to that, to someone who is aging, still trying to feel like she's part of the youth. I don't know. There's something charming about that, and I think she nails it. It doesn't feel disingenuous. It doesn't feel icky or anything like that. Because the whole time you're listening to someone who is operating at the very peak of her talents. Like, she has not dropped off one tiny morsel, one tiny bit. If anything, this might be her most successful album in terms of like delivering on the promise of just being a nonstop dance party. Like, maybe it doesn't have the craziest, most introspective lyricism or the most varied dynamic sound or the most kind of like pushing the genre of pop into different directions. But just on the promise of like a great fucking dance album with top shelf production quality, you can't get any better than this. Renaissance.
It is.
By Beyonce.
No, it's really good. I had a similar initial reaction to it where I was like, yeah, this is definitely objectively very good. And then my girlfriend was playing it a decent amount. And the more I listened, the more I was like, it's not just objectively good. It's also just good. Like, it's also it's super listenable, like front to back.
Yeah.
Insanely
easy.
I probably haven't had quite enough time either, but I'm not surprised that it's up there for one of us because it's just super great.
Just try to play it from track one. See how far you get into it, because it pretty much the entire first half of it is like one long song. Like, it just feels like it doesn't stop. Like, you don't feel the beginning and the end of every song. Maybe towards the end, the back half a little bit, you can feel that a little bit, but man, just perfect flow. All right. Number 3, Danny.
Unless Hip Hop Boy wants to jump in, my number 3 is Denzel Curry's "Melt My Eyes, See the Future."
All right, go off, King.
It's not on my list. There's definitely some tracks that would be on my favorite songs of the year, especially Walking. I mean, Walking is...
Walking is my song of the year.
God damn. That is a perfect track.
Someone just shouted this out in our group chat.
I think Facebook. It was Dane.
Yeah. Shout out, Dane.
Yeah. Let's see. It uses the sample from a jazz song in 1973 that like singing the like that's like Denzel. Obviously, as you can see, he went deep with this album. As soon as you jump into that first song, you know what kind of album it's going to be. He really, and I want to specifically talk about the extended version, which has like. It has a bunch of remixes at the end, which are it's called the Cold Blooded Soul version. And it's a minimalist version of it that it takes away the trap beats and strips it all away. And it's just him with like very minimalist instruments, which you can actually see some of the songs played at his Tiny Desk concert. This album has features and production credits to T-Pain, JID, Slow Tie, Kenny Beats, Thundercat, and JPEG Mafia, like to name a few people.
Yeah.
It's a look inside Denzel. He talks about his relationships, his mental health, and concern for his friends who are like still in that struggle because he's from Carroll City, which isn't like the best neighborhood to be in. Like Walking is just like a phenomenal song though. The chorus on its own, like that second half of it where it does like a little beat switch and he just starts going. It's just an incredible like fucking like song. I respect it so much. It was way up there in my plays.
Well, I mean, also you brought out the dissectisms earlier on in part 1 where we were talking about the JID album, but how that song is like Walkin' is like a metaphor for moving through hip hop's history with starting with this like 80s old school hip hop. And then we move into this like 90s kind of flow, and like his flow and the beat is changing with it as the song is progressing is so fucking cool. And as that as the tip off of your album, if anything, I don't know, at least for me, the whole album didn't deliver on the promise of Walkin', because Walkin' is like such a perfect song that's like how nothing can really like match that energy. But I don't think I've spent enough time with this album.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the problems, is that I like a lot of songs on this, but I haven't spent enough time with it like track one to track.
The other songs I listed out here, like for listeners, are Zatoichi, Troubles, Melt Session, which is the first song, and then Smell of Death. Zatoichi is just about a blind Japanese swordsman and his like. It's crazy when you watch the video, because it's like that's the story he's telling. And after watching that video, it kind of made me realize that like Denzel, I feel, is going to go into the Vince Staples realm. He's really going to get into that like artistry and like be much more than just music. So I'm personally excited to see whatever he comes up with next. Troubles with T-Pain was another really good song.
Troubles rules.
I love that it had that like nostalgic feel with T-Pain being on it, but like also Denzel giving his own spin on it. Even with T-Pain's like ad libs, like "get on my dick," like it's a great album. I really enjoyed it. I just think he really gave it his all when it came to him just showing that he's much more than just a hype rapper, you know? Like it really gave you a deep dive, and it was very personal. And the reason I ranked it so high was because it's just a huge step in the right direction for me when it comes to Denzel's growth.
He's going to be, wildly successful. Like, his career is going to be nuts. He's super hardworking, and he always gets better. I haven't given this album more than like a cursory listen, but it's great.
Same, yeah. But I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
And I will.
Ernie was somehow more disrespectful to Denzel Curry than he was to me during Coheed and Cambria. I don't know how that happened.
Especially when you consider he was
opinion's
pissing for like half of your spiel.
Oh, Denzel Curry.
I will give this album another shot.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into it during the year, but I've seen it on a lot of lists.
It's good.
It's climbing up. Yeah, it's climbing
He's
up.
never
the ranks
been bad
of the year.
Yeah.
Even from the jump, he was good, and he's only gotten better. I like the guy.
Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes
With a Z.
See Your Future is Danny's.
It is. You
number
said
3.
the cold-blooded version of this.
The cold-blooded soul version is like the stripped-down version of it, and it's like without the trap beats. It's just him. If you watch the Tiny Desk, he plays 5 of the songs from the cold-blooded soul version, and it's super cool. Like it's really cool to listen to. It's much more like soulful and like I don't want to say catchy, but like I don't know.
Well, it's got that Tiny Desk vibe.
Yeah,
Tiny
you
It's a
know.
little looser,
Yeah,
a little groovier.
it's nice.
All right, Drew, number 3.
What you got?
We're probably going to have to wait because it's Nilüfer Yanya.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to say that.
Oh, this album!
So, have you heard of her?
I wrote this down.
Were those words or
Painless.
sounds that you just
Painless
said?
by Nilüfer. Yanya.
This is a good album. Yeah,
This is give this a little bit of sitting. This is a phenomenal album. The two comparisons that I'm going to give you guys for a quick sense of what is, because what it is like ostensibly is like it's sort of just like indie rock in a way, but like minor key. It's more serious than not serious. It's not happy music. I would say it's like the more up-tempo King Cruel songs, which I'm a gigantic fan of. Whenever he gets a little bit quicker, because that he has a tendency to be way too slow.
Dom Suffer.
Exactly. Production wise, there are a lot of comparisons to In Rainbows.
Okay.
All right.
Lot.
Okay.
All right, you have my attention.
You have my curiosity.
Not quite attention yet.
I don't
almost there.
I don't say either of those things lightly. Those are two of my favorite things. Period. And this is a solo artist from, you can guess by the name, from the exotic land of England.
So it's Nil U with the umlaut.
Yes.
Yanya.
Yes. So most of the songs on the album are up tempo. The guitar on most of them it has a sound that always grabs my ear every time. It's almost as if there is an amp plugged in but barely on. So it's like crunchy, but not in like a distortion way, which you don't hear a lot. It's really unique to her. The drums are very uniquely produced on every single song. It almost draws from like drum and bass music, which hit harder in England than it ever did here. So that makes sense. Like early 2000s, sort of like, but like not quite that fast and way more organic sounding. It doesn't sound like a machine is playing the beats, but it gets to that point at some points. Her voice, because like what we're getting is like, you know, I'm talking about guitar and drums, and then also, much like I said with Rolling Blackouts, Coastal Fever, incredibly produced bass playing as well, which matters a lot to me if we're talking about like more traditional like band setups. Even though she's not a quote unquote band, the bass interacts with the guitar in a perfect way. It sounds so distinct from everything else, but it works together with everything else. That's another reason I compare her to King Cruel in a way, because she's a solo artist like him, but the production is flawless and every part merges together as if it's just a band that's known each other for their whole life. It's really, really special to me. I don't even know what she's saying most of the time. It's even worse than
vibey.
It's even worse than Rolling Blackouts in terms of like understanding what she's saying. But her voice on top of the instrumentals I'm describing is really, really interesting. It's the last type of voice you would describe, especially when this girl's like our age. This is like a 27-year-old like British girl. She has such like it's almost like deeper than you would expect. Like it's a deep, like dynamic vocal performance throughout the whole album. She does a lot of double tracking, and beyond that, sometimes it sounds like there's like 4 of her singing at the same time, and it's always the exact right moment to like add that. There's like a whisperiness to her voice that adds to that, almost a rasp, but not quite. All of this is working together to create something really, really special to me. This is like the most stoked I've been on a completely like out of left field artist in a long time, because I don't know where she'll go from here, but this album displays a level of mastery in like every individual component that is pretty rare to me, especially for someone who has not been heralded at all yet. I don't even remember where I found her.
Probably the algorithm, because I was recommending this album a few times.
Yeah,
by Spotify's algorithm.
I think it was in this music critic that I really like he has like a hodgepodge playlist that he just throws everything.
The Pitchfork guy?
Jeremy Larson. And that playlist itself I couldn't recommend to everyone, because like tons of the stuff in there is just like, it's just everything that he's listening to that he likes. But every now and then you'll find something like this. I don't know what Pitchfork like writ large, like as a publication, thought of this album, but this album is fucking unreal. And it's track by track great. Like it never dips. It no filler. It just rules. Like I'm excited to find someone like this, because I think that I don't know. It feels like finding a diamond in the rough. I'm stoked about her.
Yeah, the most played songs are The Dealer and Midnight Sun.
Yeah,
I think those are the ones that are recommended the most.
What? Oh yeah, no. Midnight Sun is Stabilize.
Stabilize. Yep, that's another one. For sure.
I think Stabilize might be the one that's like it's more down tempo, and it sounds really fucking interesting compared to the rest of the album. It's not like indicative of the rest of it, but it's incredible.
Pitchfork did give it an 8.4 Best New Music.
Hey, let's go.
So
there you go.
Yeah, that's Painless by Nilüfer Yanya.
Yanya.
Yep. From the same realm as Yard Act.
The way that you're describing it does have me interested. Whenever you first said that person's name, I didn't know if that was like a guttural reaction that you were having. Like
it sounds like you're saying. It sounds like you're saying a normal name backwards.
Right. All right, Hunter. Number 3.
I don't know if we're ready to talk about it now, but Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
I had it at 5.
We gotta wait a second.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool.
So we're slipping on back around to top 2. Here we are. My number 2 is going to have to wait on it, but probably just for a second. A Light for Attracting Attention by The Smile.
Number 2.
Okay, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. This is basically the closest thing we have to a new Radiohead album.
Yep.
And therefore, it is incredible.
It is.
It is Johnny Greenwood and Tom York giving it their all.
And Tom Skinner.
Who is that guy?
He's the drummer from the Sons of Kemet.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
He's doing fine. He's doing a fine job.
But this is Tom and Johnny.
Yeah.
Really.
There's moments on this album where it feels like new Radiohead from A Moon-Shaped Pool. And there are moments on here that feels like old Radiohead from In Rainbows.
Yeah.
It's
like
crazy.
OK Computer too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
It's really good. This is a great album.
It's in the block of albums that easily could have been my top 10.
I mean, I feel like they knocked it out of the park with this thing. This is their first album. I don't know if they're going to do more or if it's just like a one and done thing.
I really hope so.
Might be a them crooked vulture situation.
It sounds like a greatest hits album almost because every song is a hit. Like for me, the later Radiohead albums, like there were some skippable songs, and this one was just a consistent like album that just kept you like wanting to stay and find out more. Really cool thing is like there's actually an interview with Tom York, and he talks about why it's called The Smile, and it's not because like, oh, I'm happy, it's a smile. It's the smile that someone gives when they're lying to you and they know they got away with it.
Wow.
So
I love that.
That's like the theme for the whole album, which is really cool because it has like a very eerie sound.
Yeah.
Like throughout.
Spooky.
Yeah.
A little
It's
bit.
very spooky.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, we haven't gotten a lot of Radiohead albums in the 21st century. It's been extremely sparse. Especially, after The King of Limbs. The King of Limbs was 2011, and then Moon-Shaped Pool didn't come out for like 5 years after that, and we haven't gotten one since.
Yeah.
So in that time, Johnny Greenwood has scored music or movies. Mm-hmm. He's done some of the best movie scores ever. I mean, you can go all the way back to something like Phantom Thread or There Will Be Blood, all those PTA collaborations. But even more recently with things like Power of the Dog and Spencer, like the guy is working. And Tom York has kind of done a little bit of the same thing. He worked on the Suspiria remake with Luca Guadagnino. So I think they're bringing a lot of that expertise into this album. It feels very cinematic. And especially with something like the Suspiria soundtrack. I don't know if you've seen that movie, the Suspiria remake.
No.
So that movie is a horror movie, but it's not like an in your face spooky like scary movie. It's this more eerie like
it's a tone piece. Yeah.
It's like almost like The Witch.
Yes.
But if The Witch was like 3 hours and in
and had
Berlin,
way more characters.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned it because that's the biggest thing that I had for this album is that like this is a no skips for me in that I just whenever I put this album on, it's a track one and listen through because I think that every song feeds into each other in a very cinematic way. And the way that you want to like fire up a movie and like you want to jump in halfway
in a
through.
bonus way. But I feel like a lot of the songs still stand on their own. And that's why I enjoyed it too, and that's why it was ranked so highly for me. My rubric,
right? Scientific.
We all know
scientifically proven.
You also took it from me in the mid-year draft, and I have not forgiven you.
Well, now you took it from me in this draft.
Cool.
Well, we have it at the same.
I know, but still, I was just
you announced it first.
I was just like, me too, But it feels very raw. It doesn't feel like really overproduced.
Right.
The eerie elements are really cool because it's like you feel like it's like a tenseness, and then all of a sudden like Tom just
it kind of opens up.
It takes you into like a moment of relief, which is like really cool like throughout the album.
It's just I don't know. There's something really really special about the way they balance the sound on this thing, like where it catches those moments where it is very kind of atmospheric, and then it hits you with like that sound from something like Body Snatchers off of In Rainbows, where it's like, whoa, I did not know Tom York could still do this.
Still got it.
This is an old man at this point.
What's
still,
that?
We Don't Know What Tomorrow Brings, the second to last song. That guy's going hard on that track, dude.
Yeah, and then obviously like a bunch of unique instrumentation, which is what you can expect. Very odd time signatures throughout the album too. It's a song that really stood out for me, Thin Thing, that beginning like riff, like he just it's so good. You Will Never Work in Television Again, Speech Bubbles, Skirting on the Surface, which is another one I really liked.
Yeah. That song almost sounds like the main theme that he wrote for Suspiria. It is very, very similar. That kind of droning piano that sort of just kind of haunts you throughout. I don't know. There's just so much great work on this album. I wonder what they're going to do next. We always wonder if there's going to be another Radiohead album. I don't know. I'm happy that we got this. I feel really, really blessed.
Yeah, and I feel like he's almost like bound to something when it comes to Radiohead, even though like they always push the needle on stuff.
Yeah, this is more low key.
This is very like I can do whatever the fuck I want kind of thing.
No pressure.
And that's what like I really enjoyed about it. He really like took it. That's why for me it felt like vintage Radiohead. Yeah. You know, it felt like something he could do whatever he wanted. There was no we are Radiohead. We have to submit like a very, you know, cohesive record. This was just like I can do whatever I want kind of thing. And that's what I liked about it the most. Lee, if you are listening to this point of the podcast, this is us telling you you have to listen to this.
You know, I was going to get us tickets to go to Atlanta. And she was like, I don't know. If they're not going to play any Radiohead songs.
Oh my God, bro. It's still Tom York.
Come on, it's Tom and Johnny. You got to go.
This is like the one band for me that got away. Like, so as you know, I go to a lot of concerts. I've gotten tickets for everything except Radiohead. I've never been able to get Radiohead tickets.
I mean, it's been like half a decade.
Who knows? I was going to say, who knows if you will ever at this point.
I mean, like, I really wanted to see The Smile. I hope they end up playing some festivals this year so that I can go see at least one of them. But everyone's just like, oh, The Smile's amazing live. And I'm like, well, it must be nice.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
Great.
Light for Attracting Attention. Phenomenal album. Vintage Radiohead. Chef's Kiss. Tom York. Thank you.
Thank you, Thumb.
Thumb.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right. Numero dos. What you
Drupals.
got?
It's Kendrick, finally.
Let's get to it.
Mr. Morale.
It's not his fault that he used to be better, guys. I can't hold it against him.
Well, hold on.
I mean, we have this all.
Hold on a second.
Three of us have this in our top 5.
No, you guys can hate all you want. I think it's a good album, personally.
You have it the highest out of anyone. So
you have
how
it
can
one
you
spot
say,
above me.
How can you say that he used to be better if it's your number 2 album?
That's what I'm saying. Is like it's doing it his past a disservice to call a couple of his past albums 10s. They're above that. Like he has made albums that I would put up there with any album ever recorded in
that
the
are
history
like
of music.
Well, I mean, they're easily, you'd say, just looking at it, like, oh, he's made what, 2 of the 5 greatest or at least most influential hip hop albums ever.
That's
like what do you do with that? Like, what do you're comparing it to like God tier.
That's why this album was so hard for me to put on my top 10 because like
it's hard.
It's objectively a really good album. It's great. Like honestly, I know that. But when I look at Kendrick's discography, To Pimp a Butterfly, a perfect 10. Good Kid, Mad City, very close to it, 9.8. And then like I think this is like either 3 or 4 for me. Depends on how I'm feeling. But it's a really good album. It's very like introspective. It really
we learn a lot about him.
It tears you apart. It like really tears you apart like listening to it.
It's not your
to the
savior.
point where like it can be difficult to listen to some of the tracks on here at some points. And like I say that because I think that this album does do the thing where it's trying to have this balancing act of I'm going to, more than any other album that I have even mentioned so far, like we're gonna like play therapy sessions for you live for you to listen to. I'm gonna fucking unleash my soul to you right now. And to the point of like, I don't even really care if there's repercussions against me, because it's me telling you like how I truly feel and like just laying my guts out on the table for you.
Which he has never done up to.
He's never done.
Yeah,
like,
as famous as he is.
It's the whole thing of like, you start with Good Kid. You're just this kid who grew up. You actually broke out the
origin
city.
story.
Yeah, I'm here. I made it. To Pimp a Butterfly, which is like, it's not a savior complex album, but it is him saying like, I am the butterfly. I am the beacon that you can all look to. And then Damn, which is just kind of like deflecting off this of like, oh no, I like, who's going to pray for me? I know you're all looking up to me. And now this album is just saying like, I'm not your savior. Like, do not idolize me anymore, because I am just as broken, if not more, than all of you. Yeah. And that is one of the things that's so fucking beautiful about this album. I've cried to Mother I Sober multiple times while listening to that song. It's like, it is truly like, it's one of the most emotionally effective songs. And I mean, there's a few tracks on here throughout here that are just kind of difficult listens. But there are still also bangers. Well, there is still Father Time. There is still
disc too, because it is a double album, right? The first disc goes from the opener to Purple and Hearts, and then disc 2 starts with Count Me Out all the way to the end. And that disc 2 is full of tough listens. Like, that's when it gets real.
Yeah.
Part 1, I think, is like the kind of easier.
That's the N95. That's Die Hard, which is a chronically underrated song, just an incredibly fucking catchy banger of a song that never really caught on yet. Father Time, of course. Rich Spirit, which is just so fucking catchy.
There are so many. His most underrated skill is how good he is at picking beats and finding hooks on the beat. Because there's so much else to praise with what he's good at. But like,
switching up his voice.
Count Me Out is one of my favorite songs of the year, and that's just like another song on the album.
I know you can count me out.
Yeah, I think Savior really stood out for me. The Heart Part 5 is also...
Yeah, which wasn't originally even on the album, but it's that good.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the biggest mistakes of the whole year was not originally having that on the album. That was an insane thing to do.
But I also understand why it wasn't on the album, because it fits in the album sonically, but it doesn't fit in the album narratively with what he's trying to say.
For sure.
I know, but put that is one of, maybe like objectively one of his 5 best songs ever. And
great video.
You have to just put that as part.
The video is really good too.
That has to be a part of the package, because it's too good to not. It's too good to be a free floating single. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he came around on that.
But yeah, this album is him letting people know how fucked up he is, and he hadn't really done that before. Everything before this was talking about how he, where he came from, where he stands within like the overall narrative of hip hop, and like kind of black men in music and in art, and his faith, his relationship to how he sees America. There's all of these themes that he has touched on throughout all these albums, but he had never really talked about like who he really is. If you were to go from the very bottom of America to the very, very top, there's no way to not end up being like a weird guy. Right. I mean, there's a moment on Good Kid where he talks about how his friend got shot and killed, and he didn't feel like there was anything really separating him from his friend. That
could have just been me.
Right. Like, he easily could have taken that bullet, and his friend could have grown up to be a musician and a rapper. Yeah. Like, there was nothing inherently different about him and the person that he lost.
And I think that's why I appreciate the album so much, is because it's saying the part that so many other people are scared to say, like, loud, is that like, you just end up like being this weird mishmash of like experiences and viewpoints and opinions that don't all quite even make sense together. And he's comfortable with that at this point, because like you said, there's a lot of therapy in this because he's been to therapy. Like he's very
a post therapy.
Yeah, he's very realized. You know what I mean? Like in this form, and I really, you know, regardless of like agreeing with everything that he says or not, I really, really appreciate that. And I think musically it comes out too. Like it feels like a very synthesized version of him.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that once again, like in every album, he has found some way or another to unleash a lot of his personality and what made him him, and kind of like the emotional unrest that he's dealing with. Like, I mean, Good Kid, obviously. That's a whole kind of origin story about his life. To Pimp Butterfly, from kind of the emerging metaphor of a butterfly, but even something on a song like How Much a Dollar Cost, like talking about a story. And then Duckworth on fucking Damn, a story that he'd just been sitting on about how his dad almost died at the hands of his now...
It's an origin of an origin.
Yeah, exactly, of his now producer. But once again, he just kind of found a way to... All of those songs and all of those albums are just kind of... They're like movie versions of his story in a way. They're always looking for like, what is the cinematic element to my origin story, to my tale, to my mythology. And
this is like putting the curtain back.
Yeah, exactly. This is to the point where we are hearing a therapist's voice talking to him. I don't know if you guys have ever been to therapy, but there's a lot of kind of building yourself up and then kind of investigating what are you building up and why are you putting these defense mechanisms in place in front of you.
Which is kind of the experience of listening to this
And that's
album.
exactly what it is. And we're just slowly tearing apart layer by layer by layer to the point where, like I've said, like, it's not always the most enjoyable listen to album track 1 to track 10.
Dude,
like
We Cry Together? I never listen to that song.
it's
I will
tough.
always skip We Cry Together.
I'm
sorry.
Fucking tough
That's not what to put on the playlist.
Yeah.
You didn't fire that up at the Christmas party? I thought that I heard that on the cue.
You know, I tried, but
I thought that you and Lee did a dramatic reenactment of We Cry Together.
As raw as this album is, there's still a voice in my head that reminds me of what Bo Burnham did last year with Inside, where it's like there is the performance of raw. Like, you get the feeling that you're supposed to get when consuming a piece of art that is a deliberate choice on the artist, right? And he definitely had a breakthrough, and he definitely went through something in the lead up to this album, but he's still the same Kendrick that we've known this whole time. A Kendrick that very carefully makes his artistic choices and very carefully creates the story and the narrative of his albums. And the way that manifests itself in this album is very interesting because he makes some very key choices, like putting Baby Keem on here, or what's that one guy called?
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black.
Yeah.
Kodak
Incredible
Black.
song.
So there's some meta narrative shit with what the subject matter that he's talking about, with his fears of cancel culture and all these things, and putting someone like Kodak on the album. He's making a statement. It's all very deliberate. He's not making these choices out of left field. He's being very considerate about that. And when you get into the second half of the album, especially a song like Auntie Diaries, like, he's not just saying shit to say shit. Yeah. Like, he's not just saying random words in the studio and saying like, yeah, that'll make a good song. Fuck it. Let's go with it. It's all very deliberate choices. And the feeling that he's trying to get across is of a journey to self-discovery and to understanding that we all think things that are fucked up, and we all struggle to get to a place in which we can understand that we may be wrong and we may think things that are wrong, and we can't fix ourselves until we understand those things about ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think Auntie Diaries is kind of the most blatant example, which again, I would never, if you were somebody who listens to Auntie Diaries and you are offended by it, you are fully entitled to your opinions, and I would never try and diminish anything that somebody else is feeling towards listening to something.
If you listen to Vaxxus 2 and you're offended by what you hear, I can't blame you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to flip-flop these because Vaxxus, there's no controversy around that except for the Amory Wars. Don't even get me started on the Amory Wars.
Lots of controversy there.
No, but like down to one of the things that was a big controversy whenever this album came out is like, not just the saying of like F slurs and Auntie Diaries, but the misgendering that's happening. And it almost kind of feels like you're in the mind of a child while watching this and you can't kind of keep things straight of like what's happening around you. And you're just kind of taking in all these sensations and you're now reflecting back on this. Like it is kind of all going back to this on the couch session type. It is cinematic in its own way. It is trying to express something with like, it's not like real, like looking back at his childhood and how he was like seeing these things happening in real time.
Well, I would say it's less a childlike mentality and more just like things you're not supposed to say out loud and things you're supposed to keep to yourself to try to figure out in your own head.
I also want to draw the distinction between, because I've seen multiple people online compare this album and particularly that song to what Dave Chappelle has been up to in the past few years.
Hell no.
Not the same. Dave Chappelle has comedian brain, and so he is obsessed with saying the things that people get mad at him for. That's not what this album is. This album is just acknowledging that those things exist. Dave Chappelle cannot stop talking about trans people.
Yeah,
specifically because people are mad at him about it. He can't stop.
It's and Dave Chappelle is like an icky thing too. Like it's kind of like it's gross. Like what he's trying to.
Well, and
across.
also the biggest issue with it is that the end product is suffering.
Yeah.
Like the point of comedy is be funny, and it is no longer funny because he doesn't. One of the biggest aspects of comedy is timing, and he can't drop it.
Yeah.
This album is not suffering from those same problems. Like it's an entirely different subset of issues. And like you said, it's him working through a lot of things and not having good or bad intentions, just trying to make music that reflects where he's at.
I think that there's something to it where like this album, just Kendrick in general, it's almost refreshing in a way that there's something that's so not online about Kendrick. And I mean that in the way where like you listen to a song like N95 and at surface it seems like an anti-mask song. Like it seems like what the fuck is cancel culture, dog? Like all this kind of shit. But like when Kendrick says like I'm not online, I believe it. When Donald Glover says like I'm not online, I don't read the internet, I'm like fuck off.
I know.
Like I get the fuck out of
do.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like you are the most chronically online celebrity that we have. Like what are
We've
you
all seen
saying
Atlanta.
right now? Like
He just means he doesn't post.
but like yeah, so you just snoop on shit.
He
but like
be scrolling.
Kendrick I
is a
fully
dude who's
believe
not
is
on the
not
internet.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
like
a lurker.
he truly is just like, yo, this guy got canceled because of some shit that he said 14 years ago. And he's like, yo, what the fuck?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, like what are you saying canceled?
Yeah.
So like he's still selling stuff and people are buying his things. So what does that even mean? Like I think that that's kind of the struggle that he's trying to get through. I remember we talked about this a little bit whenever we did our mid-year 2022 podcast, that there was kind of some concern this might be the last Kendrick. After sitting on it and Kendrick kind of making
the last
his own
TDA.
studio, it's the last TDE. I have no doubts that Kendrick's going to be making music, which is great. I'm glad. I can't wait to see where he goes from here. This feels like, I mean, it quite literally does end in a breakthrough. So we'll see where we go from here.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. By the way, has anyone seen the Amazon Prime live concert? No?
No, what are you talking about? Shut up.
He live streamed his tour on
Who are
Amazon.
you?
Amazon Prime Live. Shut your fucking mouth.
It's a great show.
Oh, so you're just giving all your money to Jeff now?
Jeffrey Bezos. Yes, we did it.
Jeffrey Bezos.
I will say Kendrick did say recently in an interview that he was really going for like a Bo Burnham inside type.
Right. No, I get that vibe for
That's
sure.
his number 2.
Okay.
You know,
Hunter.
Bo Burnham has actually also said that he's not online at all.
Yeah. He also did say, "I am not your savior." Okay, number 2, Hunter.
I think it's time.
It's okay. It's only 11:08 p.m.
No, I just wanted to wait. I wanted to build up the suspense a little bit. It's Black Midi's Hellfire time.
Nice.
Wow, number 2.
Number 2.
I forgot that someone mentioned this already.
It was my number 10.
This album is like a nightmare-fueled prog rock musical.
It's incredible. It's perfect for what it is. It's entirely just a matter of like how keyed in you are to what it is.
This
because
album,
it's flawless.
Yeah, no, this album gets the award for Gaia's least favorite band that she's ever heard in her entire life.
Okay, how does she like 100 gex?
Because 100 gex is perfect sonic music. And
It's
meanwhile,
post music.
I put on this fucking carnival barker of an artist, and she's like, listen, the sounds of the listen. And she was like, what the fuck is this? Turn this shit off right. She almost had like a visceral reaction
If
whenever I
you
put
can
Black
get
Midi
past
around her.
the fact that it doesn't sound like your average music, it's such a phenomenal album.
It's my number 2 for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that
This is why
an
I wanted
album-
15. This album is why I wanted 15.
this album.
Yeah, you're right. We should definitely be here another like 3 hours.
I'm
Yeah.
down.
Ernie, after this, can we do 11 through 15 and can we talk about them even more in depth than we're
11
already
through
talking about the
20,
albums?
and I'm in.
Okay, cool. No, I think that this album, it's so clearly not for everybody. And this album really took me by surprise because, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Cavalcade last year. I liked that album. I didn't love it. It just kind of didn't really strike the right nerve with me. But after Hellfire and what this album is capturing, the fucking vibe of this thing, it's kind of alternates between this like smoky burlesque jazz club to just like chaotic blast beats that are just kind of enveloping you in this wall of sound that's just beating the it's not even like it's not suffocating you, it's more like beating the shit out of you until you pass out.
That drummer is absurd.
I'm thinking the
Like, have you watched his like
second-
live shit? Like,
oh, it's insane.
it's absurd.
Because I almost had a feeling while listening to it that was like, is this like a Through the Fire and the Flames thing where they're like speeding up their songs or something like that? It's like, oh no, they're just actually doing this live. Sugar/Zoo, the 30-second note arpeggios that are having the it is insane the shit that is happening. And then the same thing can be applied to their singer, Geordie Greep, who
What nationality are they?
they're British.
British, yeah. Okay.
I think they're British. I'm pretty sure they're UK.
Ernest, what does that
They're
sound?
British. Block me.
Can you say the singer's name for me, Ernie?
I don't have it pulled up.
Okay, go ahead and pull it up, and then tell me what the name is.
My song, like Abrasive, like the race is about to begin.
So that's my favorite song, and I wouldn't recommend starting with that.
Okay. Geordie Greep.
That's good. That honestly, that's the best that you've done this entire.
It sounds like a Roald Dahl character.
I feel like 5
Geordie
drinks, you
Greep.
can do a British accent.
The next guy is named Cameron Picton.
Are you like reading the Liverpool lineup or what?
Logan Simpson.
Okay,
That's the
All right.
band. That's Black
He's
Midi.
just on like yellowpages.com.
Block Midi.
No, so
Yeah, the race is about to begin.
The Race is About to Begin is my favorite song. That what Geordie Greep does, the way his spoken word is delivered on the final verse in that song is faster. It's like the fastest I've ever heard words spoken in my entire life.
It's weird. It's weird how he can do this and not rap.
Yeah, no, but it's all spoken and like it's still like you can understand what he's saying the entire time, despite the fact that he is speaking at like 1 billion miles per minute.
I don't know why, but like, so this band was posted a lot on Indie Heads, and so I don't know why, but for some reason I classified them as like the same. I do this a lot where I like think bands are like the same, and like. So
Pretzels is the same.
I thought that Black Midi and man, what's his fucking name? The guy that just released Bronco, Orville Peck. I thought they were I thought they were the same person, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'm not."
You could not get more different
because Orville Peck has that like black like thing in front of his face usually, and so I was like, "Black Midi."
I know, but the sound.
Oh, that's so different. Like so different because I like listened to it in hindsight, but like after listening to Black Midi, I'm like, "Yo!" So like my very like my friend from Miami, he's
you
like
just
very
dismiss them.
He's very into like obscure music, and he was like Black Midi, Black Midi, Black Midi. I'm like, dude, fuck off.
Is this the same
Peck
guy
sucks.
that thought Vaxxus was the best album ever?
No, different guy. Guy. The guy that liked
I'd like to meet
Vaxxus,
both of your friends.
I don't want to admit where he's from, but he's from Alabama. So
Probably the cool parts.
I wanna ask real quick. Have you guys heard Black Midi's cover of Love Story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
It
It's
rules.
So good.
Yeah.
It rules. Yeah.
They're cool.
No, that's the thing. Like, this album has made me go back and reinvestigate Cavalcade, and I don't know why. I just did not respond to that album whenever it came out, but there's something about this that it sucked me in whenever I like first listened to it, and it kind of just hit me as this wall of chaos and madness in a way that like I have not heard a prog rock album sound before. It has this like musicality to it. It's a concept album. It's this album about like the characters that you'll meet in hell. And we go from like seeing like the people who are betting on these like 600-pound boxers fighting each other to like a what do you call it? A brothel owner and The Defense, which is just truly a beautiful song that we're just going to throw in here as like the penultimate song to this whole album that has been full of chaos.
it's like a Showtime carnival that like Mars Volta put on. It's really like I don't know. I didn't know how to describe it when I first listened to it. I was like blown away at like how weird it was, but that I liked it. Mm-hmm. It was very odd. And I feel like they should be so much bigger than they are.
Yeah, but also their music. Like how many people this is my number 2 album, but like I think that 99% of the people in my life, I would be like, yeah, no, you would not like this.
But it's like, I feel like they were on a lot of lists when it comes to like publishers and stuff. Like, you know, like all the articles and stuff when they were doing their top 10s, like Black Midi was up there, like along with like Big Thief and like Black Country New Road. Like all those stuff were like, that was on everybody's list. And so I really thought they'd be a lot bigger than they are because like no one knows them. They have 300K listeners a month.
It's just it's hard.
Nothing.
They're just not. They're not accessible.
Oh, they definitely aren't.
And like I've sort of realized that these lists don't have the power that I thought that they did.
It's because music is the most subjective art form. Like it's
and music,
there's no way to quantify
music
it,
criticism is like dead aside from like literally Anthony.
How could you say that when
Are
Rolling
you saying
Stones?
what I do for this podcast is fucking dead?
Are you saying
dead.
bad,
I would never
Are you
say
saying
that.
bad things about the publication Rolling Stone, which only puts out like very heartfelt and unique forms of lists?
Beyonce number 1.
They gave up
Verano
this year.
Sin Ti number 2. You know, come on.
Rosalia.
Rosalia number 3.
That is a good album. I'm not going to cap.
Those are all good albums, but it's like
Rolling
Cool,
Stone
so
is
there's
just
no
fake,
soul.
bro.
These are
There's
our
no
top 10s.
soul.
These are
Rolling
our
Stone has
top
no
10s.
identity.
but it's like how could you put the most basic, like the 3 most popular albums as your top 3 albums? Like
yeah.
the ones that like the most
wasn't
people listen
Midnight's
to?
was number 4 and like Harry's House was like number 6 or something.
Rolling
so it's
Stone
like,
is
so it's just pop.
Rolling Stone
music.
is
Cool.
deeply
I mean, pop music's
unserious
good.
publication. They don't mean shit. They have no direction. They have no
They've fully given
voice.
up.
They have no meaning. They're nothing.
So did
they
you
deserve
listen
to
to this
be
album at all?
shot.
Black Midi?
Yeah.
No, but I love Cavalcade, so I got to give this a
This
shot.
Give this a
you'll
shot.
love this. This is I think better.
Yeah.
This is an awesome album.
I would say one last thing for the listeners. If you just wanted a taste, because maybe a lot of people are going to hear just us talking about this and just going to be like, nah, that ain't for me.
Maybe
and that's fine.
I can
That's fine.
drop in a couple little snippets.
I'd say Welcome to Hell is a good place to start to kind of drop in. And that's like a little taste of like can I get into
like
this or not?
It's a taste, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, can I handle this or not? If you can do Welcome to Hell, then you can kind of get ready to dive into the more craziness of all of this.
The Racist is About to Begin is just such an abrasive song that just makes you feel like fucking all sorts of emotions. It's just like you're getting blasted constantly.
If you ever like listen to music and you've been like, God, I wish Harry Styles sounded more like a carnival barker, then
Whoa.
Black Midi is the artist for you.
Don't spoil
listen
your
to
number
that.
one. Jeez.
No, we already know his number one, if you remember.
It's MGK.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Black Midi Hellfire. That's
Danny,
Hunter's-
you haven't drank enough. Hurry up. You
That's-
weren't supposed
This
to
is
remember
my
anybody's
fifth.
lists.
Plus the two tall boys ahead.
number 2. Hunter's number 2.
And you're number one.
Hey, we're in number one time, babies. Let's go.
Which
All right, welcome everyone. You have now arrived.
Thank you for skipping
I
to
can't
this
wait.
part of the podcast.
I can't
to the
wait for
number
this.
one.
You have arrived at number 1. Welcome to the church of our wizard, our King Gizzard,
yes, sir.
and the Lizard
Yes,
Wizard.
sir.
This is crazy.
Number 1.
I'm
of
happy for you.
2022.
So which one did you choose?
Omnium Gatherum.
Okay.
It blew my fucking socks off the first time I listened to it. And I listened to it again and again and again and again. And every fucking time it hit. It hit every time. Every time. And then they put out 4 more albums after that.
I think isn't it just 3? No, it's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, it is 4. It is 4. Yeah.
And they were all good,
Guys.
but nothing beat that first
So-
album that came out this year. They put out 5 albums this year, guys.
So for me, my top King Gizzard album this year was Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava.
Okay.
But Omnium Gatherum at the mid-year pod we did was my number 1 because that was all they came out with.
Right.
But then Jizztober happened
And they dropped 4 albums in 1 month.
in 1 month and they popped off.
What is wrong with them?
Those are all good albums. I think my favorite of Jizztober is probably Changes. I like that.
Oh,
one
that
a
one's
lot.
a really good one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I think Gandhi might be top 3 of the year.
Yeah.
like, in terms of King Gizzard songs.
What's your
saying
King
right
Gizzard
now?
top 10 of the year?
I'd say King number 1, Gizzard number 2, Lizard 3.
Where the
Lizard-
remixes
Lizard
fit in
3
here.
for sure. Okay.
The thing about Omnium Gatherum is they put out a couple of different COVID albums where they were all recorded separately. All their parts were recorded remotely. And you could feel that. It was like LW, GW, whatever they were called. I think you shouted out like Butterfly 3000.
Butterfly 3000
Yeah.
was another great one.
And Omnium Gatherum is like, we are back in person, baby. We are feeling the fucking energy of playing
It's the Top
music.
Gun Maverick of music,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
We're back in the movie
We're
theater.
back.
So Omnium Gatherum for me is like a big like compilation of King Gizzard being like, what type of fucking music you want to hear? 'Cause we can do it.
Anything.
You know? And like, so they go
Thrash metal, we got it.
like, Beastie Boys,
Psychedelic rock, we got it.
jams. We
And
got
all of it.
Like, it's an incredible album
And
to
the
like,
flow is just, you never feel like it's jerking you around into a completely different world.
Persistence is a really good one on that. Kepler 22B. Dripping Tap is
Dripping Tap is
That's
my
the
favorite
song of the year.
Yeah.
amazing.
That is the best song. Fucking
Yeah.
18-minute track to open your album, just dropping your balls on the table from the jump. Like, this is what you're here for.
There's a song named after your wife, Gaia, and Predator X. I am really
Gaia.
So my favorite one was Ice, Death, Planets, whatever. There's actually a whole KEXP YouTube video about them performing that song live. That's what changed my mind about whether that album was, my favorite or not. Because Omnium Gatherum was my favorite until about a month ago. And then I saw the video and I was like, this album slaps. So then I listened to it
That's a great
again.
album.
Yeah, and Iron Lung is phenomenal. Ice 5 is a really good one. Mycelium is like gives you Fishing for Fishies vibe when it comes to like what album that came from. And then Changes, like you said, AstroTurf is a really good one. Gandhi is really good. Hey Dancin' might be my favorite King Gizzard song this year.
That has like a Parcels vibe to it.
Man.
It's like a very like in your face kind of thing. Like I hate dancing, but you're gonna dance.
Yeah.
Like kind of thing.
For anyone just listening, not watching, Danny is off top with these song titles. He knows them.
Oh yeah,
Bro knows them.
So I wrote notes. If you see, I wrote notes for everything. Like,
But you
and then
memorized them.
for King Gizzard, I just wrote Jizztober was crazy.
It was. dude.
That's all I wrote.
was
You're like, I gotta
crazy,
remember this
dude.
one thing. I know all the song titles, but
Yeah,
It was crazy,
yeah.
dude.
It was.
I mean, I was sold on Omnium from the jump. Like I knew this
So
was
was
my
I.
number one. There nothing even came close. The only thing that maybe came close was Renaissance and oh shit, I just realized what Drew's number one is. That's another album that definitely came close. We're gonna talk about it in a
I
second.
love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It okay, there were a couple that came close, but this one I think just the totality of it, the scale of it. I mean, this is a beefy boy. This is an hour and 20-minute boy. 16 songs.
but-
Like it's a heavy motherfucker.
It's still really good though, but it just like okay, don't even compare for a second.
Listen, Danny, I'm gonna be mean to you. Ernest,
Go ahead.
you were kind.
Let's hear it.
No, Ernie,
No,
you were
bring it.
kind to me for Coheed, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys have your moment.
I'm gonna say,
I'm happy for
as
you.
as a neutral observer, these song titles are just as annoying as Coheed.
Okay,
the Garden Goblin,
the Garden Goblin cut the cord parentheses.
Presumptuous.
Just it's
I will say there's not a single goddamn Coheed song that came out that's 18 and a half minutes long this year. Okay,
but
let me
like,
just say
can
that.
you
honestly,
imagine? Oh my
it
God.
deserves it. And
Dude,
and one,
listen to the fucking song. It is fucking amazing.
it's not
so good.
it's not like listening to a 3-hour set from Fish. I promise you. It's a very short commitment and it's gonna blow your balls off.
Yeah,
A
literally.
short.
18 minutes is shorter than any
This
TV
is me.
episode
This is
you
me
watch.
trying to pitch like people to go see Babylon. Like, yeah, I know it's 3 hours and 10 minutes long, but like, I promise you, if you can just get over that, then like you'll have a great time.
The thing
This is
You don't-
18 minutes.
You don't even have to get over anything. Like it's
It starts
it's a
off
journey.
hot.
Your
It starts
nipples,
off hot.
your nipples are hard.
It starts hot.
Your nipples are hard from minute 5.
Let me
And
tell
the
you,
bones are worth their money.
nobody can retain anything for 18 minutes. Ask my wife.
Okay. So, okay, if you want to take anything away from this, I would say live is way different.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I'm sure that's
Way
the thing about
different.
King Gizzard is like this is live music.
So,
in a
so
way.
just to paint a picture of where I saw them, I saw them in Miami, but you know how there's a bunch of clubs on Miami Beach. One of the clubs in Miami Beach bought a random plot of land in Little Haiti, and they just host all of their indie rock shows there.
They love King Gizzard and Little Haiti.
and for no like, dude, it was the biggest like, you know, gathering of random hipster guys from Miami that were all, you know how like people went for like Dan Flash's shirts? This is how they were going for King Gizzard records.
Yo!
Like, I swear to Christ, I'm not kidding. They were like standing in line for years. Drinks were like 17 a pop.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But King Gizzard slayed it for like 2 hours. They're playing in fucking caverns in Tennessee now. Like,
Here's my final word.
They're in cave.
Not only is this my favorite album of this year, this is the definitive King Gizzard album.
I think
Like if you need to be sold on this band, just listen to this album
You're talking to me right now.
and you will get everything you could possibly want. The full scope of the talents of this band is in this album. Everything they can do is encapsulated perfectly. It's an achievement. It's
You
a fucking
can't-
achievement.
you can't show this band to the average person, but since I consider you idiots to like music, I think
Degenerates.
like it's just King Gizzard is a very hard band to show someone that doesn't like music. You have to like music Like in general.
So he's listening to King, and they're like, "Is this music?"
Because there's
I don't know.
what I mean is that you guys are very like diverse in your music taste, right?
I know. I like I hear them and I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like I'm
This
in
is.
era.
I currently have this album at 26 on
Okay,
mine, so maybe it is in my albums. Like I do like this album.
That's
Well,
even
you didn't
worse
talk
than
like it was
not listening
26.
What?
We'll remember that
Yep.
for next year.
Yep.
When
Top
King
26.
Gizzard comes out
Yeah,
with another
top
8
26.
albums.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay?
It's above such hits as.
Don't do this.
Do you want me to say what's in front of it? Because that might
No.
make you more upset.
Harry's house.
I mean, Coheed is in front of it by a lot.
Yeah, by a lot.
Well, Coheed, I could also listen to the Coheed album twice before listening to this album. So there's that.
No.
it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I could listen
Yeah.
to myself fart 500 times before listening to Coheed.
If I could
and I did.
listening to myself fart would be my number one of the year.
No.
You have now witnessed the glory of the gods of the Lizard Wizard Church.
This is crazy.
And it's funny because remember they were 10 for me one year. Then they snuck it into like 8, and now they're at 5.
And now they're at 1 for me.
But the thing is,
were you always this devout of a Gizzard?
No,
head?
no,
That's what
whatever.
I feel like you got indoctrinated, and I feel I
did
have
this.
Danny to blame.
This
for
is me.
I'm blaming Danny for all.
100%.
Danny's a negative.
Well, actually,
100%.
Nathan and David were the first ones.
Yeah.
that they slipped me the first
They
dose.
were in
The
it.
first Lizzie
they
pill?
were in it like early on the Giz Hive.
Because I used to be the guy that used at the party that you were talking about. That used to
King
make fun.
Gizzard and the
Yeah,
Lizard
that
Wizard?
used to be me. I'd be like, what the fuck?
You get that. And there's just a lot to make fun of with the band.
Yeah, they have a weird fucking name, but I promise
And,
you.
and like the fact that they're putting out 1 million albums every year, I'm like, what? So I have to listen to all of them?
You don't. That's
I
the
know.
thing.
That's
You
what I'm
don't.
saying. Is
You
I'm
don't.
gonna just do this one, and
So
we're gonna see how
Do
it goes.
Omnium, Gatherum, and that's like the perfect introduction to who they are.
I do like the album that you mentioned as well, though, Danny.
I
It's like
Planet,
7 nouns. I like that one as well. I did listen to that one.
the mycelium, whatever.
Watch the before you instead of listening to the album, go watch the KEXP YouTube video about it.
Here's the
They
thing.
will fucking blow your balls off.
The last final word. This is literally like everything they've been building up to for a while. Because in order to put out as many albums as they do, they just have to riff in the studio. And they do that a lot on this album, I'm sure. But this is also like a culmination of so much. This is not just like, let's jump in the studio and figure out what the fuck we're going to do. Like, they've been working on this. And I think they did the same thing for Changes too, which is why I like that one as well.
I think I just naturally, I mentioned it before with the Vince Staples thing. I think that I just always have a hard time with artists who put out too many albums in short succession. Like, for example, the Ty Segall album that came out last year,
Right,
Harmonizer,
yeah.
was my number 5. Hello High came out, and I have not listened to that album because I'm like,
He put out another one?
I'm like, yeah, I'm like,
He
you
puts
just,
out a
You just
fuckload.
fucking
Yeah.
put out one. No, like, I'm good. I'm gonna give it 18 months.
Yeah,
my
let
guy.
me sit with
like
it.
I
Let me
said,
sit with this.
Jizztober was crazy, bro.
All right.
I'm happy for you.
King
guys.
Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is my number 1 with their album Omnium, Gatherum.
You
Danny.
should know my number 1.
Number 1.
You had it, and I told you to save it.
Is it?
Woo! Ha!
Singing hallelujah.
Alpha
Dude,
Zulu
I'm
by
fuck-
Phoenix.
Yeah, Danny, to be honest, I had this in my top 5 and I just moved it out today.
This-
and this easily could just be a
This is Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix Reborn.
It's
Whoa.
Phoenix, dude. Phoenix did it again. They're back. Phoenix is
Wow.
fucking back, man.
They're back. The
I
French
haven't
boys.
listened to it yet.
They have
That's-
done it.
That's
You should have fucking peeked at his list like me.
Fuck you. I'm so
Damn it,
mad at
Ernie.
you for that.
Damn it, Ernie.
I listened to it.
No, next year,
That's-
private
Have you never-
playlist. It's actually this year, private playlist. It's happening.
you could go to jail for that.
I-
Ernest.
Yeah.
I
You're not
listened- I
legally
listened
allowed to
to
do
it.
that.
I don't think you can.
It
do
is
that.
after 10, so
Dude, Danny, no, you go off on this album because I have a lot of thoughts. This album is fucking, it's so good. Since this album came out, like, November? I have not been able to stop listening to it. I just resort back
This
to
is
songs
all
over
we
again.
want.
To call it Wolfgang Amadeus Reborn is like the highest.
It's
praise.
the best album since Wolfgang.
because that
easily.
album is like top like ever.
It is,
Like,
and I promise you, it's gonna take. There's 2 songs specifically that are very Strokes-esque, like from
Artifact.
Artifact
Is a classic Phoenix Strokes sound to it. That I love that song. So much.
If I really need to say more, Ezra Koenig is on the song from Vampire Weekend, and if that song came out 10 years ago, that would have been overplayed to fucking death.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a phenomenal dancey album. We don't want anything crazy from Phoenix. We don't. All we want is some dancey shit. I want Thomas Mars just with his soothing voice saying, woo, ha. That's all I want.
Hallelujah.
That's all I want, man. My favorite song on this album is All Eyes on Me, which is a fucking...
Oh, All Eyes on Me rules. That song's so good.
It's a dance party. It'll get the crowd moving wherever you are. It's just... Like, the whole album, like, it's just... It gave me that nostalgic feel of, like, when I first got into indie rock. And that's why, like, I really fell in love with it. It was, like, when Bonnaroo's lineup came out, and I was like... Oh, let me check out these bands. Like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be heaven on earth kind of thing, you know? And when I found out they were making an album, I was like, I really hope this is it, because Ti Amo didn't hit it for me.
No.
It was okay.
Entertained. Yeah, it was.
There's like 3 songs on Ti Amo that I really like, and the rest of the album does not work. Entertainment. I love that album.
I love that
Bankrupt.
album.
Or Bankrupt. Yeah, Bankrupt. I love that album.
Bankrupt is great, but this album is better.
It is.
This album is better. It's basically when they released that first single, Identical, I was like, I don't know yet. I don't know.
That was their first single?
They released it like in 2020.
I thought that Alpha Zulu was their first single. I did not realize that.
They released Identical for a movie like in 2019 or something. But I was like, I'm not convinced yet. Alpha Zulu came out and I was like, I'm still not convinced. Then I re-listened to it and I was like, I'm convinced. And then that's when Tonight came out with Ezra Koenig. And I was like, this is going to be a fucking banger.
Mm-hmm. And then Winter Solstice came out and you're like, oh, what's this?
I know.
Ooh, we're getting like atmospheric here. Like, what is this song?
There's no like Love Like Sunset, like fucking powerful moment in this album, I feel. But every song is stronger than like 50% of Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. And that's what I want to say about the album. And that's why it's my number 1, because Wolfgang meant so much to me. Like
it's an all-timer.
Yeah. It was in the first round of draft picks whenever we did our album draft. However long ago that was.
I wonder who fucking took it from me.
I wonder who fucking took it. It was me. I took it because it's one of my most influential albums ever. Like,
and
it
you took
inspired
a
so
System
much
of a Down album from me.
Yeah.
Which I haven't forgotten.
Get the fuck over it.
So I listened to this
better.
album for the first time today.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, when you fucking snooped in my goddamn playlist?
Guys, Phoenix had a new album. Danny and I were out here in the group chats being like, yo, Phoenix had a new album. It's really good.
I was like, shut up, you fucking moron.
I had it on my list. Like I said, I wrote down like 40 albums this year. It was on that list of 40 of like stuff to get to eventually.
Half of them were King Gizzard albums.
Yeah.
And that's your own fault because they're all 7.5 hours long.
I know how you feel now. The way you two disrespect King Gizzard is how you feel about Coheed.
Yeah, you get it now. Thank you. Thank you.
Except it's actually
And remember,
worse.
I sided with you with Coheed.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
I respect both of you. That's why I wasn't going to interrupt anything that you said about King Gizzard.
So
People
next
don't
year,
forget.
Yeah.
Drew will have both King Gizzard and Coheed on his list.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be
I
great.
can't wait till he brings up some fucking Pavement album and I'm just going to be like, this shit sucks. It's garbage.
I wish
This is
Pavement put
fucking
out an album this year.
derivative.
That is all I listened to last year. I don't have time for your fucking King Gizzard.
King Gizzy Lizzy Wizzy.
No, this album is so good.
It's a clean 10. You love to see it. 35 minutes.
I'm telling you, it's a really good album. No skippable songs. You can listen to it from beginning to end. There's plenty of songs that stand on their own. It's a masterpiece.
I love The Only One and season 2.
The fucking
Season 2. Winter Solstice. I think that I made guys sick of that song because on the Winter Solstice this past year, I may have listened to it like approximately 7 times.
Oh, yeah.
So it was
Nothing wrong with that.
Doom, doom. doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
It just wanted to vibe out. It has like a diversity song to it that like it keeps you engaged, but all the songs are like 3.5, 4 minutes. So like you never get sick of a beat because by the time that you start to feel something goes on for too long, we move on to the next thing. Yeah. I think Artifact is my favorite song on the album just because that's a good one. It's such like a classic Phoenix Strokes or like 2000 song that is just so good.
I love how we got his attention once we said Strokes.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's when he was like,
"I'm like a dog.
Maybe I'll respect their."
I only know certain words. You know, I'm like, treat. Someone say treat.
Strokes.
Julia?
Park. Park. Going to walk. A walk. Oh,
this is in the slate of albums that could be. I originally, to be honest with you, I had this in my like top 4, and that was like, no, it's too soon. I have to put this lower. Like I was like, no. It was like October. I've listened to this too much. Like I have to put it down lower.
It was like in October, and
November 4th was whenever it came out.
Originally, my number 1 was King Gizzard, and then I moved this up because I can't stop.
I feel that. I just kind of keep putting this on like every day whenever I'm working. Like so much of this album is in my like Spotify Wrapped.
And to add on to it, this guy is an actor in What We Do in the Shadows.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Love that guy.
It's all clicking now because that scene, he's also sitting at the same table as Sofia Coppola, who directed the movie that the song is
On the Rocks
that you were talking about earlier.
Identical.
Okay, well that makes sense.
So that's Alpha Zulu by Phoenix. It's Danny's number 1, and Hunter, you had it at
number 7.
Drew, let's get into it.
Skinty Fia.
Nonagon Infinity.
Stop. Why does he disrespect us?
It's okay.
Suck MTJ. Come on, I'm ready.
I'm really excited to talk about this.
This Fontaines D.C. album, it just hits high school Drew and it hits current Drew at the same time, which is all that I could ever ask for from an album, period, you know? It's, we're talking like a minor key bleak sound. Like the album is bleak. It is not a happy album. It gets the award for the only album that it made me cry this year. And you can probably guess what song. It's The Couple Across the Way, the accordion song, AKA.
So good.
It's really, really powerful. But like you were just speaking of track sequencing in the Phoenix album, that's the secret behind why this album doesn't get old, because a lot of the sounds are recycled from song to song, but we are switching shit up from track to track. Like, for example, right after The Couple Across the Way is fucking Skinty Fia, which is a ridiculously different song. It was... The first single that got my attention was Jackie Down the Line, which I'll talk about. But Skinty Fia has like a mid 2000s sound to it. It's not just like later 2000s, like, heavy reverbed out Arctic Monkeys. It's like Casa Bien, like British, like Britpop era, minor key, like alt rock music, because it has like an almost like machine type drum track that no other song on the whole album has. And that's how the album stays interesting. There's always like one element to every song that isn't in any of the other songs, even if they maintain almost everything else in similarity. It just fucking rocks. It just rocks. It's bleak. It's like dour. It's sour. It sounds wizened. It sounds like it's depression in an album.
It has one of the most unique sounds I've heard in years, actually. Not just this year. Like I haven't immediately fallen in love with a new band as quickly as I did with this band.
I know, and they're not even a new band. They're new to us.
Right.
But like I went back into their old discography because I was so struck by this album, and I was like, they never sounded like this. Like this is a whole cloth new creation by them, led by, like I said, lead single Jackie Down the Line, phenomenal single, one of my favorite songs of the year.
Jackie Down the Line. I Love You was my most played track of the year.
Really?
This year.
That owns that. Yeah, that song is fucking unbelievable. And that kind of speaks toward the strength of the album, is that it's repetition that also somehow builds, even though it's repetitive, right?
Oh, I love you.
I love you. I told you I did.
I could not like to think of it, the what I experienced this year was a song like that being constantly recommended to me by the algorithm. And for me to never get sick of it, not only to not get sick of it, but to put it on my heavy rotation playlist at the top. It was like my heavy rotation playlist was like With You, The Way It Shatters.
You're welcome for With You.
I Love You. And I just like could not stop listening to those songs. And I, you know, like I said last year with St. Vincent, it got to a point where like I had to stop. This did not happen with this album.
Yeah,
every time this a song from this album came up, I was like, yes,
it's the only album that I never stopped listening to.
Yeah, I mean, ever since you put me on, ever since you put me on Fontaines D.C, I was just like, wow, this is an incredible album. The only reason it didn't make my list is because I knew you would have it.
Yeah, to be honest, this was one that was just like, I don't have to stress about where to fit this in because I know that you will have this on here. This album's great. It's fucking amazing. It really is like, it's not just if like Arctic Monkey's natural trajectory, because this has like so much more of a mature sound than Arctic Monkey's ever had.
It's bleak.
Yeah,
like
it's gloomy.
It's dour.
It reaches a level of despair that they have never reached.
Yes.
And it almost similarly, like it scratches the itch of like really old Interpol.
Yes, I actually was gonna mention Interpol. That there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
because
that
Interpol was like a more minor key version of the Strokes, like a more like bleak, kind of raspy version of the Strokes.
Like this album for me was what I wanted King Cruel to sound like. This is what I wanted him to go.
This goes way harder.
Yeah, it's just like instrumentally for me better than King Cruel, and then like the vocals as well.
King Cruel,
like,
yeah, because I agree, because I love King Cruel a lot, but he tends to be up his own ass in terms of being like, no, I'm gonna do another song that's like 50 beats a minute. They're gonna love it. And
I mean, the opener track on this thing in Augury. All right, hold on a second.
say it.
it's like a weird.
In Augury Go Deo.
Now you're not using an accent for old Irish.
Augury Go.
Yeah.
Augury.
It weirdly does pay like a lot of homage to like old Irish tradition and roots. I mean, Skinty Fia is like a term taken from the vocalist's grandmother.
Yeah, something deer. Like
Yeah.
demon deer or something. Damnation of the deer.
I like in my brain, this album is indistinguishable from the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes,
Irish lore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the one
go.
realm that you can handle.
Irish pride.
Is Ireland.
I know, and
Are you
trust me,
secretly Irish?
I
I'm
never
like the least Irish person.
I know. I never thought I would respect the Irish in any way.
He's going to be popping off on St. Patrick's Day.
How dare you say that to an Irish-born Boston boy like me?
Dropkick Murphy's
Murphy.
out, Skinty Fia
Flogging
in.
Molly up in air.
You're spoiling his number one.
It's
The Departed.
No,
Is the Departed soundtrack?
Jackie Down the Line was obviously like a big hit for me, but I think my favorite might be the closing track. I don't know how to
Nabokov.
Yeah,
Nabokov.
Yeah,
It's a great one.
it's phenomenal.
It sounds like a mission that would be in Modern Warfare 2, but
It sounds like No Russian.
it sounds like a sniper you would unlock at level 60. But it slaps so fucking hard. And that's not even one of the most played songs on the album. Like, it just like front to back, it's giving you so much variance, even though, like I said, they all share similar elements. The vocalist has a very, very limited range. He just knows exactly what to do. He has a very stark fucking delivery. Not a lot of notes. Most of the songs are pretty monotonous, vocally speaking.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's totally fine. I think the ingredient that made this my number one is that like I'm just a sucker for reverb. I love reverb.
It's perfectly calibrated, and you can tell like
It sounds like this album is being played in an empty stadium.
Yeah. But
like
you can tell
in like Chernobyl
that they've arrived at this sound over multiple albums. This is their third album, and going back to my number 10, Yard Act. Like the reason why I keep linking these albums together is just because it feels like it is kind of two sides of the same coin in the sense that like they are approaching the same sound, but Fontaines are approaching it in a way that feels so much more developed and so much more mature. With me, Yard Act is like, I see the potential. That album means a lot to me because of what they'll do with their second album, with their third album. Like I can see the potential. With this one, with Fontaines, it feels like they have reached their potential.
Yeah,
like they have actualized.
It sounds like an endpoint. Like the way that like songs like "I Love You" like hit a high, where it's like you want to scream the chorus along with him because it's so monotonous that you can and you can hit the he's like, I had to be the fucking man. Like it's perfection to me. Like I couldn't really ask for anything more. It scratches the itches I had in high school. As like a nascent, like a young depressed boy, and as a more
as an adult,
as an older depressed boy. Yeah. At the same time,
he defines the only reason
the opening track.
Gone is the day, gone is the night. It's a great album.
It smacks. The vote. I don't know. It's hard to have a vocalist that limited and arrange him to the fucking front. Like you hear his ass because his lyrics are unbelievably good. The mixing is great, and he knows what he can do. Yeah. Like it's just and that's
everyone else too. Like the fucking drummer.
Yeah,
he goes in.
Yeah, the drum smack. No one is doing anything complicated. It's just all right. Like it's all
right. Yeah.
They're all playing the correct stuff. And that's my favorite kind of music.
Oh, I'm so glad. I thought you were going to hit us with some fucking quickly shit that nobody has ever heard of.
I gave you fucking Nula for Yanya, number 3.
I was betting, like, Danny and I were about to put in a bet, like, how much you want to bet that Drew is going to pick something that nobody has ever heard about.
It's like, so I did pick this artist. He did kill himself last year, but before he died...
This is posthumous album. It's dedicated to his dead cat.
Yeah, it was actually recorded in, like, the 1800s, but...
Yeah,
it's like a Linklater project. It was recorded 13 years ago. It was just now released.
They just found it on the inside of like a clay pot.
Right.
And he has a song called Green Tea, which is just about him having green tea with his grandfather.
Yeah. They struggled to transfer it to digital. They had to like recover it.
Yeah. His grandfather killed him also.
It's all an interpretation of the original album.
Skinty Fia.
Skinty Fia, yeah.
What an incredible album. Yeah. Cannot wait to
It's the only album I never stopped listening to.
Yeah.
It had
if
to be
you didn't exist, it probably would have been top 5 for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wish I didn't exist.
Well, you also showed me them, so it's kind of like a,
That's fair.
catch-22. Yeah. But like, if I knew you weren't going to put it on your list,
Right.
it would have been up there for me.
Hell yeah.
All
right, Hunter.
That means a lot.
Close us out.
So we've talked about a lot of like heady albums and like albums that have a lot of emotional
I know
intensity
what's left for you.
A lot of like albums that are just like really complex and trying to express a lot. But at the end of the day, I have one thing to tell you guys. And you know what that is? I'm cocaine's Dr. Seuss. It's Pusha T's It's Almost Dry.
Okay, before you start, does this have anything to do with the fact that this was Tom Brady's favorite album?
You mean 80 for Brady?
Yeah, is this on it? Did Pusha T do the 80 for Brady soundtrack?
I think that's what you're thinking.
No, Pusha T called his own shot. He said, I'm about to release the rap album of the year. And guess what? He fucking did. This album is perfect. It's the best thing that Pusha T has ever been associated with. It is 12 tracks. 6 of them are produced by Kanye West. 6 of them are produced by Pharrell Williams. 2 of, I don't know, like the 5 greatest hip hop producers ever. Like, whenever you're combining this of 2 of the best producers of all time with Pusha T, who I would say is probably the best lyricist rapper alive, and you're just putting this together. It was kind of something that was made to be magical, and it delivered on every single promise. This is just an album. There's something to it that is a little bit smooth brain. I feel like we've talked a lot about like, oh, this is like very heady, and like they're actually getting to a lot of like deep emotional themes here. But you know what's great at the end of the day is you just put on fucking bangers. And at the end of the day, I just couldn't stop listening to this album. All 12 tracks for this are in my Spotify Wrapped. Like all 12 tracks are taking up half of my Spotify playlist.
I think my second most listened to song was Off the Top.
I just kind of can't stop listening to everything that's on this album. Like front to back, there's no skips. Everything that Pusha is doing is bringing something dynamic and unique to every track. But, you know, he's not reinventing the wheel. He's never going to make a Mr. Morale. And I think that a difference that I've had where previous to other years where I would have tried to put this pressure of like, well, you know, it's lesser than because it's not dealing with all these heady albums. And the thing is that that's not true. Like that, the thing is that this is also just like the catchiest album of the year. It's the album that I could not stop listening to. It didn't matter if I was in a happy mood, a sad mood, angry, worried. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to throw this shit on and just kind of let this whole, all 35 minutes of this just wash over me and just get sucked into this all.
Track by track, like this could have been like my number 2, just because I'd listened to it so much this year. It's so listenable. I mean, Daytona was my number 1 the year that came out. That's kind of why I put this one lower, just because like I've already given him his flowers. Yeah. So I'm glad that you're now doing it. I mean, Daytona is also like, it's one of my favorite albums ever
in its own right. But I just think that this is like, it's more cohesive of an album, if that makes sense. This feels like Daytona. I love that album, but like that was part of the Good Fridays. Remember when Kanye was good, guys? Whenever he was putting out that is another thing why I'm putting this at number 1 is because it feels like maybe there's a little bit of like nostalgia to it that this is probably going to be the last good thing that Kanye is ever going to be associated with. And I think I've come to terms with that.
Yeah.
He actually has incredible bars on this album. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Donda 2 didn't make any of our lists. So
that's the one that I forgot.
Oh, shit.
There's always one every year.
I thought it was Jesus is King the second.
Jesus is re-king. No, I mean, this whole album is just straight fucking bangers. I mean, between Let the Smokers Shine the Coops, Dreaming of the Past, Neck and Wrist, which is up there with the best produced songs of the year of just so fucking good. Diet Coke, of course, straight fucking banger.
I listen to that song a lot. That's one of my songs of the year for sure.
Rock and Roll, it's a Kid See Ghost reunion of Kid Cudi and Kanye coming back together for definitely the last time because now they do not like each other at all. Scrape It Off, you mentioned. With Don Toliver and Lil Uzi Vert, just fucking incredible. And then we're just going to close out the album with Labyrinth and Malice on I Pray For You. Fucking chef's kiss. Just absolute perfection. This is an album, I haven't been able to stop listening to it since it came out in April, and I still haven't. I saw him live at the Plaza in Orlando here a few months ago, and just fucking incrable.
Oh my God!
Saw people just straight up just doing blow, like right next to me. Somebody
Snow?
Johnson and Johnson.
Live during Diet Coke, they have instructions for how to make crack cocaine. On the projector screens in front of you, and I just saw a guy just like not even trying to hide it, just like vibing, dancing out. And then he just like stopped dancing and just like reached into his wallet, pulled out a bag and like just took a fat, like I was just like, dog, like have some discretion here. Like nobody gave a
Plaza. It's the Plaza Live.
People are very open about their cocaine use these days.
Well, we do live in Central Florida. Yeah. So that does make sense.
I was in San Francisco and I saw
at outside
so much. Yeah.
Damn.
That's the bougie shit.
Cocaine is child's play nowadays.
Yeah, I thought I had heard this song, something.
Diet Coke. That's a joke.
No, it's
right?
the one with Nigo. No, man, it's on this album.
On It's Almost Dry.
Hear Me Clearly.
Yeah. Hear Me Clearly is
it's
incredible.
on Nigo's album. I Know Nigo, which it's an album. It has it's a collective of like a bunch of different rappers,
Nice.
like Tyler the Creator's on it, Pharrell's on it, ASAP Rocky's on it, and Pusha T's on it. And so I was like, I've heard this song before. So
Wait, that song is on both albums?
yeah, it's on.
It's like a
on
compilation.
an album called I Know Nigo.
Oh.
Nigo is a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just so good. Some of the bars on here, not just from Pusha T, but just from everybody who's collaborating, is just like the top tippity top notch of just rap lyricism. I didn't want to leave any.
Is it so for me? The only reason I didn't give this album a chance is because I just associate Pusha T with rapping about cocaine nonstop.
I mean, well, it's not nonstop. He does rap about like cocaine.
He gets very creative with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of like
It's
it's just like it's like I'm really good at like doing this one thing and like rapping. I'm good at doing this type of rap. It's this type of like quote unquote gangster rap. It's this type of like former like I'm drug dealing music. Like that's always what he calls it in his songs, which he's just the best version of that. And like I think that there's no one close to him when it comes to that type of rap and just his general lyricism.
I guess like in this day and age, it's like very big to like be that, because like how many like aside from like mumble rappers who are like fake gangsters, like he's the only one that's doing it well.
Pusha T also like straight up did come from these streets. Like Pusha T was fully on. Like he's not actually. There's nothing fake about anything that Pusha T was like ever doing. That's why. Rewinding the clock to the Pusha T Drake beef, whenever Drake tried to start shit with Pusha T, and Pusha T was like, "Bro, I will come for your life right now."
It was Adonis.
Yeah, right? The life of Adon.
That was wild.
Yeah, he was like, "Don't you ever fucking say my name in your verses, or else I will dox your child to the world." Like, don't come for me, bro. And I think that's one of the things that I just love about Pusha T is that there's something kind of unadulterated about him. Yeah. There's something that is just kind of, it's so classic in everything that he is bringing to the table. It's just, it's fucking excellent. It's so good.
You can also just listen to it without paying attention to the lyrics, and it's still great music.
Because again, it's Kanye and Pharrell who did all the beats, and
he has perfect delivery and flow.
Yeah.
Which is to me more important than the content of the lyrics.
Yeah, and the cadences are.
Yeah, and also it's about how you rap about what you're rapping about more than about like what you're rapping about.
Yeah.
And the way that he's doing it is incredible. You know what I mean?
Unmatched.
There are rappers who will rap about like what happened to them when they were a kid, and it sounds like dog shit because they're not good at rapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. That's our list. The best of 2022. Best albums 2022. It's Almost Dry by Pusha T is Hunter's number one. You can find the full list in the comments, in the description, in the show notes below. Check them out. We'll put them up on the website, webotamic.net. Thank you all for listening. Should we do some quick fire honorable mentions?
I have some that I can fire through super duper quick.
Okay.
So can I.
My hardest cut was The Dream by Alt J.
Yeah, I thought you were going to have that on there.
Yeah,
I fucking love this album. The only reason I didn't put it on here was just because I really wanted to make space for JID. And I shouted out Alt J during our halfway through the year pod, but that album is fucking incredible. It's a return to form for Alt J. Really love it. Diaspora Problems by Soul Glow.
Shout out to Dane. Also had this one on his.
It's my number 13. This was another one of my toughest cuts. I really love this song. Who Gonna Beat My Ass? Just fucking straight banger. There's so many different influences that are coming in of hip hop and metal and like this post punk sound that's coming in there that just, it rules. I really love that. Drill music and Zion. Lupe Fiasco put out an album this year and it fucking rules. It was kind of a tough cut for me, which I was not expecting. Yeah, no, highly recommend. It makes me happy for the future of what Lupe's got going on. Devil on the Couch, Satan on the recliner,
Beelzebub on the futon,
Lucifer on the sofa, baby.
Lucifer on the
fork.
by Spoon.
Fork. Knife. The knife.
Great album.
It's not the knife.
Spoon just at it again doing its thing. Dawn FM by The Weeknd.
Yeah, very early 22. Album.
Yeah, it kind of was an album that I forgot about because it came out like
Shout out
the
to
first
Jim
week of
Carrey.
January. Midnights by Taylor Swift. Wet Leg by Wet Leg.
Yep,
I don't think I've listened to a single second.
It's
of
good.
That
Good
Taylor
album.
Swift
it's a good album.
Me neither.
It's good.
The Taylor album is good. So is Wet Leg. A couple smaller artists. Just want to shout out real quick. Where the Heart Is by Sweet Pill. Really, really great. Kind of pop punky, modern sound to it. Love that album a lot. Everything Was Forever by Sea Power. Songbook by The Lazy Eyes. Shout out to friend of the pod Nate. Turned me on to The Lazy Eyes. And then one last album is, and I lost it here.
Wah, wah, wah.
So
Okay, I'll jump in.
okay, hop in.
Laurel Hell by Mitski.
Yep,
That was on my top 10 for a while. Had to take it off.
it's such a good album.
The Car by Arctic Monkeys.
Nope, El Coche.
That will
I
pop
thought
up
it-
here in a second.
I thought it was solid. Also, shout out to my brother, Mauricio. Un Verano Sin Ti by Bad Bunny.
Conejo Malo.
His number one album. of the
Damn, he
year.
turned you on to some indie shit.
I listened to this album today for the first time.
Listen, Bad Bunny gets really good producers.
This is a great album.
Yeah, no,
It
same
rocks.
with Rosalia. Like they get great producers. Bad Bunny himself, I don't like the way his voice sounds, like his vocal quality.
Yeah.
Rosalia has an incredible voice, and that album could have made my list if I had listened to it more.
Motomami.
She's awesome. Yeah.
Coping Mechanism by Willow. Shout out to Young the Giant with American Bollywood. I thought that was a solid effort.
I thought like it was really cool how they used like Indian music as an influence throughout the entire album.
Chloe in the Next 20th Century by Father John Misty. And The Tipping Point by Tears for Fears. I wrote down a bunch of
Tipping
other
Point,
albums that I meant to listen to and I just didn't. So it would just be a waste of everyone's time if I just read all their titles because
It seems like you're like begging us to be like, no, Ernest, please. No.
Ernie, read it.
List them out.
Danny,
Go ahead.
Danny,
Did you
go.
remember your last one, Hunter?
No, go ahead.
No, Hunter's
Okay.
on like Reddit.
I'm trying to find.
Albums I do want to shout out are Cool It Down by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs,
Ooh, they're back.
Surrender by Maggie Rogers, Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
on mine too.
Even though
can you believe how big Steve
Bad
Lacy
habit.
got?
TikTok killed him.
It's
It's
insane.
Have you seen the videos of him at his gigs this
Yeah.
year? Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
leaving.
you posted that
Well, he
video.
hates it because of bad habit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's funny because whenever that album came out, I was like, "Yo, Bad Habit's so catchy." I like showed Guy that song, and then it became a TikTok trend
That's
like
not
a week
even
and
my
a half
favorite.
later.
My favorite song would be Sunshine on that album.
Sunshine rules.
It's a really good album. It has some filler, which is why it didn't
Yeah.
make my list. But
Same.
it is a really good album, and it's kind of finally him cashing in on like the promise of that EP in 2017, which
Yeah.
was like I talked about it back then. But yeah, fuck yeah, good for him. You know, I'm glad he's famous.
What else I got on here? Sick by Earl Sweatshirt was also really good.
Yeah.
I feel
Yep.
like he's finally coming
That was a
back
good one.
to being a good like artist. Louis by Kenny Beats.
That was my number 13.
That album is so good. It's a dedication
It's a
to
good
his
one.
father, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it's just a really really great beat album, like awesome album.
Yeah, it's so good. Easy listen. It's like lo-fi, but like way better.
It's really great working album. Like
Yeah.
listen while you're working.
Yeah, for sure.
Shadow Glow by Flip Turn. And I will say this really quickly. Remember That You Will Die by Polyphia. And that's it.
Real quick, I remember the artist that I want to shout. Everything.
Harry Styles.
That's
sorry.
who it was. Yeah. It's this guy from One Direction.
Wrong Harry.
Harry Sayer.
One album that was a tough cut for me was Everything Was Beautiful by Spiritualized. Have you guys ever heard of Spiritualized?
Yeah.
They're an artist that you like listen to and you're like, this is great. And then like the last 3 minutes of the song happen. It just kind of devolves like as you're listening to it.
Yeah, very noisy.
Yeah.
Great, good band.
Yep.
A few that you mentioned, Danny, but the ones that no one's mentioned, my number 11 was MJ Lenderman with Boat Songs, which is my true old man album because it's like borderline straight up country, but it's like garagey indie rock country.
I'll share this on my work playlist.
Listen, if you're an indie person who likes Pine Grove, just take another step into. You don't have to be scared of country just because most of it's bad. That doesn't mean it's all just bad because it sounds like country. That's stupid. Danger Mouse and Black Thought put out an album together called Cheat Codes.
It's so good.
Black Thought is one of the most underrated rappers ever because he's been in the Roots. He hasn't done a lot of solo stuff, but he's fucking phenomenal. He can go toe to toe with any 90s rapper, like in terms of just straight up structure. He's very good. The beats are great. It's a great album. A lot of stuff that's been mentioned. Seafoam Walls, if you're going for a very small
Nice.
band.
Yes. Yo, Seafoam Walls. That's another one that's a deep cut on here that Spotify Discover band.
Yeah. The album is XVI. It's a great album. They're just a really good. They strike me as a band that you'll like if you've been in a band and you like indie music. Grace Ives, Janky Star. Have you guys
Good
listened
album.
to this?
Yeah.
It's like really, really good pop, just like straightforward, like indie pop rock music. And it could have even made my list if I listened to it more. I came to it very late, but it's a super, super solid album. And then if you want to get in on the ground floor on a band that sounds a lot like the War on Drugs, the band is Good Looks, and the album is called Bummer Year. They're doing a hell of a fucking impression of War on Drugs, like old War on Drugs, and it's great.
I'm taking notes.
I'm into that.
All right. Most disappointing album, We by Arcade Fire. Dog shit.
Wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah, Weed by Arcade Fire and I'm sorry, it's The Car by Arctic Monkeys. That album sucks, guys. I'm sorry, it's not good.
Why are you guys expecting things from these
thing is,
these bands have proven that they're done.
No, I was expecting more from Arcade Fire than I was from Arctic Monkeys. To be honest, I don't hate Everything Now. I think Everything Now has a lot of filler to it, but I also think that there's a couple really good songs.
I think it has 2 great songs. That's it.
A couple great songs.
And Will
I said,
Will is canceled. Right?
And so there's that.
I guess, yeah.
Honestly, I gotta be real here. It's an artist who I had on my best of the year, I think 2 years ago. I was not a fan of Rina Sawayama's album.
No, it's dog shit. It's awful.
Such a bummer. It came out on a time when Guy and I were going on a road trip, and it's one of our favorite things whenever a new album by an artist that we love comes out while we're going on a road trip, because it's like sweet. We can just fully dive in, immerse ourselves into it, and it is just not good.
It's a bad album.
It sucks because her last album is so good. I love that album. And it was a big disappointment for me.
You blew it.
Another series of, I guess, misses for me were Red Hot Chili Peppers just got John Frusciante back.
Oh, yeah, Unlimited Love.
Yeah, Unlimited Love. And
I thought you said that you liked this album a lot.
Return of the Dream Canteen. It has too much filler. It's way too much filler.
Big old swing.
There's some songs that slap, but then there's some that are just like, why is this here? But they still got it live.
Hey,
John Frusciante live saved that band.
I mean, whatever like the equivalent of CTE is for heroin, that's what he's got. So congrats to him for still being able to play guitar at all. That boy has been cooked himself.
He's actually got like tons of Band-Aids like all over his arms.
That's so sad.
Well, like I would imagine it's a style choice almost at this point.
It's
like wearing his past on his sleeve.
I mean, he's wearing like cargo shorts and like a loose ass polo and like high socks, and then he's got like the Band-Aids, and he's ripping at the guitar. Like he's absolutely
straight up out of 1997. He has just not changed at all with his wardrobe a day.
We got tickets. And they blew us away. Like Red Hot Chili Peppers live still got it. Their music, not so much. But like they had some good songs on it. Like I think there were like some like, you know, worth noting. But other than that, albums as a whole were some huge letdowns. I'm trying to think if there's any other letdowns for me.
We got to wrap it up.
Two Door Cinema Club letdown.
That was a big letdown for me, dude. Man, Two Door Cinema, honestly, they've never reached up to the heights of Tourist History.
They fell from
Tourist
grace.
History is such a fucking good album, and it's just kind of been a downward trajectory since then. I liked Game Show that came out like 2017, 2018.
The single they came out with, it was just phenomenal. It was a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
And then everything else on that album, complete trash.
Nothing. Yeah.
Quick shout out to the Instagram repliers when I asked what their favorite albums were. At Andrea LMAO said Joji Smithereens.
He put out an album this year?
Did you?
And
he did.
at Travi Travieso said Viagra Boys Cave World.
Wow, those boys, they're
Cave
still
World.
around,
Nice.
huh?
Oh, I know him.
So yeah, shout out to you. Thanks for replying.
Weird shout out, but arguably one of maybe my favorite song of the year is by Brax plus Falcon, which is Alan Brax and Panda Bear from Animal Collective.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And someone named DJ Falcon.
Oh, there was also an Animal Collective album out
I know.
this year.
Yeah.
Well, listen though, this because that album I didn't love, but this is an EP. The song is called Step by Step. It's like crazy good, like transcendentally a good song. It's just like one of those songs that just dropped like on its own, so you're like, okay, whatever. But like, man, it's good. Holy fuck, it's good.
All right. It's time to wrap it up. Thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what you thought of all our top 10s. Check out WeBoughtAMic.net to sign up for episodes in your inbox. Delivered weekly as we upload them. Thank you, Danny. Thanks for coming on.
I love Danny
This
episodes
is
because I get to
12 hours?
exactly because I get to justify having McDonald's now because it's really late.
Not bad.
Well, yeah,
Right?
brother.
See?
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
no
coming
problem.
on. I
Always
hope
happy to be
we
here.
have you on again soon, maybe for a special episode.
Yeah. I'm down. I think
we got
next
games?
episode would be 20.
Oh, I forgot about the
Fuck, it's
counter.
gotta be a Danny Spectacular.
the big old
then.
counter.
I have to do a big thing.
Are you sure this is not 20 right now? Because we split this into
I
two.
don't know, but we can just say the next one's
Okay.
20.
Okay, we'll say it. We'll say it.
It's true.
Hey, also, it's 2023. I'm opening up the Discord. So join the Discord. It's been quiet. I don't have the bandwidth to keep up with it. So I'm opening up the floodgates.
Listen,
Get in
Mods
there.
are asleep.
I'd be happy if we just moved our group chat over to Discord so we could actually have multiple conversations at once instead of just like me wanting to like drop a picture and like ruining whatever someone else was saying.
Yeah.
Because I will do that anyway, but I don't want to.
Join the Discord. Link below. And thank you, all you beautiful donors, for donating. You keep the show alive. You can donate at anchor.fm/WeBoughtAMic. Next week, it's TV shows. The best.
Guys, I'm gonna have
TV
to
shows.
buy a television, aren't I? For next week.
I thought you had a mic.
I'm gonna
Is that not
I'm
enough?
gonna have to watch 8 TV shows.
You got Survivor and Baggage.
I didn't finish Survivor because I heard people were mad.
Okay, so White Lotus.
You heard that
and
people
Baggage.
weren't mad, so you're like, I'm not interested.
Jeopardy.
Okay.
Did Love Is Blind have a new season?
They did, and it was trash. Don't bother.
Is that not your favorite show of the year?
So that'll be like what, number 6?
I think my
or-
favorite might be Rehearsal.
Okay,
Let's go.
pick.
Rehearsal, and then
That'll definitely come up.
Severance.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Tank.
I don't know
Good
if
picks.
either of those shows exist.
I've watched all of Shark Tank instead of watching one good show.
Shark Tank is awesome.
It is
Shark Tank rules.
so good.
We had a whole discussion about Shark Tank. Was it just you and me like last week? I don't know. I was just talking about Shark Tank with somebody.
Who's your favorite shark,
Tank
and why
rules.
is it Robert Herjavec?
So for Christmas, I literally got my girlfriend a custom. I made this. It's a T-shirt with Robert wearing like a little puppy costume on it.
Oh, that's amazing.
I always wait for
Robert is an angel.
I got
rules.
my girlfriend for her birthday. There's an Etsy that does shitty drawings of people, and it was a shitty drawing of Robert Herjavec.
Hell yeah.
That rocks.
It's literally
That
called
rocks
shitty
so hard.
drawings.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That rules.
Thank you all for listening. Happy 2023. Stay tuned for the rest of Listomania.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.